Welcome back, everybody, to Locked Off Logic podcast. We're back with two of our favorite people, Riptide and Rene reviews, to talk about coming up to the end of 2025. I had a great time with cinema, story, TV shows this year. I know these two had a great time as well. A lot of cool things to look forward to in 2026. And just a quick plug on the podcast. You can find both these guys on TikTok, on Instagram, where I think you guys are mainly most active on Instagram, right?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. Yeah, so check them out at Rene Reviews, Darius French at Riptide, both made famous for their amazing reviews they kick out and that we always try to share. And so yeah, I mean, how you guys doing tonight? How's your Christmas? How you guys doing? What's new?
Glad it's over.
Okay, we got one glad it's over. And Riptide, who's yours?
You're muted.
No, he's muted.
You muted yourself, maybe.
There
Check
you go.
1 2 1 2. Up on my Scooby.
You got it, baby.
Good now.
I think he was saying that he rewatched Lilo and Stitch and he changed his mind that it's actually one of the greatest Disney movies ever made. That's what he was saying.
Don't you dare tell me.
That's so funny. I still remember that review, dude. I remember that review. Just, oh man. Anyway, bro, how's your Christmas?
I don't blame Rene for being glad that it's over. Not that mine wasn't uneventful, but it's just it's definitely, I wouldn't call it low rent, so to speak, but it's definitely one of the least memorable Christmases that I remember. And I'm a very big advocate for Christmas, like in my house. I've always loved it since I was a wee little lass. So the fact that I wasn't that hyped for Christmas this year pretty much tells me everything that I needed to know about how God this year.
Mm-hmm. Get it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, my Christmas is actually awesome because I have two brand new like nieces and nephews, and so like my Christmas,
It's fun.
yeah, not so much for like. Obviously, like once you turn like a certain age, like all Christmases are kind of the same. But man, watching like those two little babies like get their new stuff, and I bought like my nephew this little car that I bought it with the intention to like push him around, but it's not like a push around car. It's like a sit in and watch TV car. And man, he loves it. Like he's been sitting in that thing all day. He's just chilling. He's just watching Miss Rachel. And so, yeah, it's been fun.
It's awesome.
Yeah. But I'm super pumped to have you guys here to talk about 2025 because as I was making my list, it's just really there's just so many good things that came out this year. I had a hard time with like my top 10, like some of the questions I pose of like I have a most overrated, but like the most anticipated for next year, all these different things. But we have 3 topics to cover. And what I want to start out with, either you two can let me know which one you guys want to start out with, because I know that I have a list of my top 10 favorite TV shows of the year, but you guys might not. So do you want me to just go ahead and say that?
Yeah, of course.
Or,
Yeah,
of course, go right ahead. I haven't really gotten around a whole lot of TV this year, so I don't know how much I can really add.
A few shows, but I don't watch enough to like be a TV.
Not exactly enough to really add to your list or sort of add much feedback.
All right. I know I have one on my list that will probably piss you off, D-Money, but whatever. It's my list, so whatever. And you'll know what it is when it hits. Just trust me. Cool. So I guess we'll go into that, and then we'll go into the worst movies we saw. The what do you call it, D-Money? The disgraceful list or the dishonorable mentions?
Dishonorable mentions were the ones that, again, dishonorable mentions. They didn't actually make the list.
Make
the
your
actual
list. Oh, okay. Damn, and War of the Worlds didn't make your list?
I didn't say that.
Oh, okay. I'll wait. And then we'll do worst movies. We'll go 5. We'll start with Rene, go to D-Money, we'll go to me, work our way through. And then when we get to the top 10 movies, I'll ask you guys a question after everything, kind of work our way down, and then we'll just blast this thing into 2026. Sound good?
Yeah, let's go.
Cool. Well, I do watch. I'm a TV snob. Like, I'm watching TV all the time. And I'm not, when I'm waiting for food, when I'm cooking food, when I'm a TV, I watch a lot of TV. And so this one is actually tough because I think I watched something like 33 seasons of TV this year, whether it be limited series or like just, and I only count on my list things that were released or finished in 2025.
That's normal.
Because I swore.
I was going to say that's normally how I do my list sometimes. Anything that's like released in 2025, I do sometimes make it exceptions for like late December entries, like I did with Puss in Boots: The Last Wish. But yeah.
Yeah, because I struggled to put Fallout. I was like, well, I put Fallout, which I'm loving so far, but there's only 2 episodes out, and it wouldn't have cracked my top 10 currently. Oh, dude, it's so good. But anyway, number 10 was The Studio with Seth Rogen. Did you guys watch this at all? Like The Studio?
Saw the trailer. I've heard about it. Didn't exactly get around to it.
I like
Like,
watched the first episode, but I've heard good things about it.
I loved it. I loved it, and I'm not usually a Seth Rogen fan, but my buddy, who my co-host who does this with me, he's a filmmaker, and he was like, "Dude, this is so accurate of like people getting drunk at like the rap parties, having to speak the next day, the filming on film versus on digital, the studio head like adding things. Like if you see like a weird part in a movie that doesn't make any sense of why it's there, it's usually because like of a studio head. And so I love the studio. I just learned a lot from it. I thought it was hilarious, and it's one of the only Seth Rogen. So number 9 on mine was a show on Netflix called Adolescence, which I thought was amazing. I thought was just a really. I'm guessing you guys both
Only number
know about
9?
this based on your reaction. Yeah, I think that is such a good critique on like modern masculinity and like where men find their guidance, find their leadership, like whatever, like try to find like their ideas from. And like I'll talk about like masculinity for me was a big thing this year on just positive examples of it. And Adolescence I thought was an example of how it can go awry when you follow people like Andrew Tate and all these different people. But no, number nine, because number 8 was Gen V.
Okay.
Gen V.
Okay. I'm not
with
surprised.
the
There. I shouldn't
boys.
be surprised there. What? Yeah.
Did you not like Gen V?
Yeah.
Okay, I love Gen V. I thought it was awesome. I can't wait. I thought that was up there on my competition with like the best villain for 2025. Best TV villain was Cypher.
I was expecting him to make.
He ended up.
I honestly thought he was going to make it out of this season. Honestly.
Yeah, I did too. I didn't see that twist coming either. But he was in a Netflix show a few years ago. That same actor called Midnight Mass, which I thought was one of the best shows I've ever seen on Netflix. I'm guessing Rene, you saw it because it's a horror. It's a horror one. Did you see it?
Yeah, and I also like Mike Flanagan, who's behind it.
Yeah.
That show, actually, I was not too much of a fan of, but I did love his Haunting of Hill House.
I actually am looking forward to what he does with Carrie. The original film is what.
We'll see. I'm nervous. I'm nervous.
I can't say I blame you. I can't say I blame you. But it again, I am at least optimistic. The original was one of my favorite films ever. I do have a bit of a soft spot for the 2013 film, but well, just leave that for now.
I love how you're both horror stands too. I love that.
Yeah, best genre.
Yeah, I know. I saw you publishing all your Christmas horror stuff, and I was hilarious. I was showing my mom, and she was like, "I don't get it," and I was like,
"I
don't."
Yeah, my water bottle.
There you go. That's awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome. Okay, so number 8, that was Gen V. Number 7 for me was Stranger Things. Currently, I don't know if you guys have caught up with like the latest 3 episods, but you did.
If anything,
you are caught up. My sister's the one.
Not watching. My older sister's the one who's watching. She's the one constantly pestering me to try to watch the show. I never get around to it.
Oh, okay. Well, like this last season, I'm just really like there were 2 in this last 3 episodes specifically. There was 2 moments that like had me in tears. I was like, oh, that's so good, and I can't wait to see how it ends and people's relationships kind of coming together. And yeah, and then like like those of us OG watchers, we've been watching this for 10 years, and like seeing it come to an ending is just. It's good, and they're doing a good job, I feel. I don't love, and Rene, I know that you'll sympathize with this, just the constant bitching that I'm seeing online. I'm just like, bro, like, I'm like, can we stop being just like perpetually pissed off like all the time? Like, does it have flaws? Yeah. What TV show doesn't? But it's still like,
stuff like this.
The flaws to me are not annoying enough for me to put it on the internet.
Yeah, I just feel like they always got to find something to complain about. Like, it's just never. Nobody's satisfied. There's always got to be something they didn't like, but I think it's great. And I mean, I'm ready for the finale. And so I can't like judge the whole season as a whole really without that finale, which I'm sure is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Fry.
Yeah, I mean, it's a show about freaking like monsters and sidekicks and an alternate dimension and kid actors. Like, just enjoy it. Like it's well produced, it's well done. And it's a story, it's an original IP that we're actually gonna get a decent finish on. Like, I'm just glad they didn't cancel this like midway through the story, like Netflix does with other things. So I'm satisfied.
Me too.
Okay, number 7, that's my Stranger Things. Number 6 is a Netflix show called Untamed. I'm a big sucker. Untamed, yeah, very good. It's a limited series, really good. It's got the guy from I forget his name, the first Hulk, the first Hulk. Like not MCU Hulk, but the Hulk like in 2003. I forget his name.
Eric Bana, that Hulk.
Eric Bana, yeah, that Hulk. He's the lead, and it's basically like a murder mystery that takes place in Yosemite National Park. And so I'm a big nature nerd. It was a limited series. It was an engaging story, and I was just really surprised by it, and enough to where it got up on my number 6. Number 5 was Daredevil: Born Again, which I'm a total Daredevil stan. I loved the Netflix series. I thought there was one episode with like the Disney Plus series that I thought was a little out of place, and it kind of did feel like they changed producers in the middle of it, but I still loved it because I love Daredevil, I love Punisher, and I can't wait to see what they do with season 2. Number 4 is a TV show called The Pit on HBO Max. You guys heard about this?
Yeah,
Heard of it, yes.
Yeah, it's cleaned house at the award ceremonies. It takes place over one hospital shift. Each episode is an hour long. It takes place over the hour of their shift, and it was just awesome. It's just rough, like dealing with like pandemic and telling kids that they're dying and mass shootings, and it just made me have a lot of sympathy for those folks that work in hospitals because I feel like they're overworked, and I just feel like it's gonna get worse and worse and worse, like our healthcare system and stuff. But big fan of The Pit on HBO. Number 3 was The Last of Us season 2. I love The Last of Us season 2. Renee knows I'm a big stan of The Last
Me
of
too.
Us. There you go. I knew she had my back on this one too. I know you gave it a 6.0 out of 10. Is that what you did? 6.0, 6.5?
6.5. And this is coming from somebody, and this is coming from again. As much as God of War is my favorite film series, The Last of Us has really captured my heart. I adored the second game, even when it came out in 2020, and everybody sort of loved to hate on it. Like I understand why, but at the same time, it's definitely like again ties back to what I say. Perfection doesn't really exist in this world. They were just going by with the story that made the most sense to them. And I think, given what happened at the end of that first game, going into the second, there was no other way. I think that story was ever going. There was no other way that story was going to go. It's one of those things where the more I look back on it, the more I learn to appreciate it over the years. When The Last of Us ended, when the first season of The Last of Us ended, I automatically knew that the second season was going to ruffle feathers, no matter what. I probably should have expected going into it that it wasn't going to be the same quality as the first season, because I knew they were going to change some things up. I knew they were going to either go even more inconspicuous with the writing or sort of dumb it down in a way so people could understand it, because people they actually did go subtle with a lot of stuff in the game, and then they had to like over explain it and dumb it down on the show so people could sort of like get into it, because it's sort of like I understand what they were trying to do, I understand why they did it, and the fact that I was still even able to enjoy it amongst all of that is a testament to how much I love this series. But at the same time, if you would ask me, this was a season where nobody was going to walk away 100% satisfied. TV fans, HBO fans who like Chernobyl, fans of The Last of Us, fans who like Last of Us 2, fans who hated Last of Us 2, like nobody was going to walk away fully satisfied. And it's just, they tried to do something to the best of their ability to sort of get ahead of the backlash that they knew was going to come their way again. And whether or not you enjoyed it or not is your cup of tea.
Oh yeah, and I did enjoy it. I rewatched it recently, and then I played the game recently too, and I have and I wouldn't even call them complaints. I guess like for me, playing the game was so nice because like when that happened and they killed Joel, like I just kept on plugging through. I'm just like, I gotta kill this bitch. Like, what's going on with this? And like just keep on going and going and going. And I'm glad there was no like 2-year break in between like my being able to play the game. And I almost wish, I know this was never going to happen, never, where they would have done it in like one long season. They would have never have done that. But I'm just like, that would have like, for me, because like waiting another 2 years potentially for the next season, I'm just like, not that I'm not going to be not invested, because I'm a total stand for that story, but I just am not patient. And the one thing that concerns me though is Neil Druckmann leaving. I thought that the episodes that he directed were the best ones. And I'm just like, but we'll see. But me, every episode I was like, it was great.
I can
Me
understand.
too.
And I'm like, so yeah, and like when the complaints were first like popping up on my TikTok feed, I was like, really? Like Bella Ramsey, like that's the you don't like this? Like I think she's acting her ass off. Like, yeah, I know she doesn't look like her, but I think she's great. And like Pedro Pascal, Joe Miller in the game is Texan, not Latino, and no one gives a shit there. I'm like, But anyway, that's my number 3. Loved it. Every week, I can't tell you just the anticipation I had for 7 p.m. Mountain Standard Time when that shit hit HBO Max. Anyway, okay, so number 2 is Andor.
Sounds about right.
Andor for Star Wars, I just think I think it just matches our moment perfectly. Well acted, really scary. Like really scary, like when you're watching a Star Wars movie and just like the parallels that it makes like our current world. And I feel like that was peak release too. Give me 3 hour-long episodes a week for a month. And I was just like, that's how I want all my TV shows from now on. I thought it was great. And then number one was Task. Task on HBO. Task was like just such an emotional story, such a brilliantly told story. Like Mark Ruffalo, it was so good in that role. And every week I tuned in, I was just more like emotionally involved with those characters in a way that I didn't think I would be. Like I have no prior ties to the source material. Mark Ruffalo is not my favorite actor in the world. There's a bunch of actors I never even heard of in that show. And every week I was like, this it just feels like peak television. And that's my top 10.
Fun fact about Task, that as well as its prequel Mayor of Easttown were filmed in my hometown area. So I mean I have not
Really?
seen anybody, unfortunately, but yeah, there's a restaurant that's only like 5 minutes away. I believe I had actually gone there for dinner, and then there's a sign out front said closed for a special event, and then it turns out it's because they were filming there at the time. But yeah, so all those characters, I haven't watched it myself, but if you hear those accents on those characters in that show, that's a lot of the people around where I'm from, and it's the southeastern Pennsylvania accent. I'm sorry, it's
There's
awful.
Dude,
nothing to
I
worry
try not
about.
to
that's
have it.
cool. That is awesome. I had no idea. And that show, you really should watch it because it is so just so it's so good. And it, like the villain in it, like there's a point where you're kind of like cheering for the villain because he's not really a villain. It's just
Misunderstood.
like it's just life kind of yeah, not even that. Yeah, misunderstood is a good word, but like just life turns him into, I guess, what you would call a villain, like under the law. But there's a really well acted scene between Mark Ruffalo's character and him, where Mark Ruffalo's like technically you're a criminal, but God, like if I were you, I would have done the same thing. Just life sometimes is just so hard that it just, I don't want to say it turns us into criminals, but it just you just do what you have to do to survive. I guess was the theme I took from Task.
Sometimes that is the reality.
And that was my top 10, y'all.
Nice.
It was a great list. Anyway, I want to move on to the list that D Riptide specifically requested, the top 5 worst movies of 2025. And I guess we'll just take turns. I guess Rene, will start with you, like on your number 5. Go Rene, Darius, and then I'll do my number 5, and we'll just keep
This
going until
is
we hit
gonna
number
be
1.
juicy.
All right. So it was kind of hard trying to find my worst 5. There was a good chunk of movies I thought were pretty trash this year. But I think with number 5, I am going to go with Ethan Cohen's Honey Don't. It had Margaret Qualley, Aubrey Plaza, and Chris Evans in it. Basically, Ethan needs to just do movies with his brother. He needs to stop doing movies on his own because they're awful. And it's weird because in all of his movies so far, he's made Margaret Qualley a lesbian. Not that being a lesbian is bad. It's just weird. Like, why do you keep making Margaret Qualley a lesbian? Are you like secretly getting off on watching her make out with other women? I mean, that's fine, but like, just admit it.
That is weird.
But yeah, it was just absolutely terrible. I only honestly really saw it for Chris Evans, and even his character was annoying in that. So that's my
I
5.
actually was
God, I knew you were a Chris Evans stan.
considering watching that because I actually did like his previous film, Drive Away Dolls. Don't ask me why.
I didn't like that.
I don't know why. Maybe I was in a good mood that day. I clocked what the film was trying to tell
Mhm.
me and its little intricacies and whatnot. But the reviews for Honey Don't sort of turned me off that one. So
So what was your number 5?
it was actually I really had to think about this one because I had an original. I was originally going to save this spot for Captain America: Brave New World because me. But the more but I had to bump that back to my number 6 because the more that I think about it, this one was very recent. I literally just put this on the list a couple of days ago. The new Avatar film.
What?
Never seen a single
God,
one and don't care.
What did you not like about it? I haven't seen it either. I probably won't see it, but like, what did you not like
It's-
specifically about it?
It's there there used to be a time, back when I was younger, like back when I was around 2009, where I actually liked the first Avatar film. I was literally like just the right amount of age to where everything felt fresh and organic and new to me. Seeing it on the biggest screen possible, there was a distant memory that I could only get like brief glimpses of. Nowadays, though, it's a vastly different story. Consider it being falling into like the bloody falling into not only the white savior trope, but the fact that the movie itself is also sort of blind to its own racial implications. The fact that James Cameron picks so many things from like different ethnicities and cultures, and yet doesn't really give much mention to them or whatnot. And it's one of these things that sort of continues on for continued through these past 2 movies. barely was able to get through Way of Water without putting it on my list. But this was just this was the one where I just had to draw the line because at this point I'm convinced the entire narrative was being run on inertia here. There's little to no genuine novelty. There's no unexpected midterm point or whatnot. There's no like tightly constructed narrative twist. And it's like, and that annoys me because this was the first Avatar film that I actually got vaguely interested in because we're coming off of the last film where the Sully family literally lost one of their kids. Everybody's grieving in their own way. Outside of course coming back. Yes, he's still alive in this one. Outside of that, we literally have this new this new clan run run by this woman played by Una Chaplin. They this fire clan who basically they've disconnected their bond to Awa, and they're basically doing what Korra is looking to do to sort of take over Pandora, scorch the earth, so on, yada yada yada. But from that point on, it's like stuff like I'm not gonna pretend that they don't try new ideas here. They at least try to make everyone grieve in their own separate way, and they do at least try to make the new clan at least somewhat intimidating. But it's one of those things where it almost leads into almost an identical showdown, an identical structure to the previous Way of Water film where everyone gets kidnapped, they escape, they get kidnapped again, and it's one of those things where I get it. It's like, and again, all the characters are completely interchangeable.
This is why you requested a shit movie list because you have a lot to say about these shit movies. Yeah, mine. So I didn't see Avatar. I won't see it. Not that I'm not like opposed to the idea or whatever. It's making a ton of money or whatever, but just the concept. I'm just like 3 hours packed theater.
And that's another thing. They carry
Exactly.
these stories on for like an obnoxious amount of time, and after a while, it's sort of like it's it's not like the Avengers films that sort of it's not like Avengers Endgame or Infinity War that sort of earn that runtime.
That's the thing. There's no Captain America showing up in Avatar. I don't need that.
Build up to like this particular point. It's just 3 hours, almost like for the sake of elongating you for that long period of time. It drags on you after. It dragged on me after like the hour and a half minute mark, and then it was like, oh my god, it's going on.
Yeah, I skipped it. My number 5 though is Freakier Friday.
Lord,
Lindsay Lohan, Jamie Lee Curtis, and you know what? I'm a big. I loved Freaky Friday 1 when I was a kid. I thought it was a great original idea. I love Lindsay Lohan. This was just one of those movies. There was a moment in there that was so cringe that I almost walked out. But I stuck with it. And at the end, I was like, you know what? Now I'm $15 more broke, and my nostalgia itch didn't even get tickled. So Freakier Friday. Why not call it Freaky Friday 2? Like, what is Freakier Friday? It clocks in. Yeah, it was freakier, but the freakier moment was when the ICE agent starts dancing when some girl gets her citizenship in court. I'm like, God.
I'm sorry, what?
It's just so, yeah, it's so cringe. Yeah, so like they have like this court appearance of like this couple that's getting married because of citizenship or whatever, and she gets it. The judge is like, you get citizenship, sends her gavel, and like an ICE agent there like starts to dance. And like the thing that drives me nuts in movies is when there's like an unnecessary dance off or like a dance where it's not earned or whatever. Like the Ewoks at the end of Return of the Jedi. Yeah, you let those fucking bears dance, bro. But Freakier Friday, like a whole courtroom dance because someone got citizenship. I'm like, 2025, it's like that's not happening. And 2, it was just so cringy that I was like, do I stick with this or do I? And in the end, I'm $15 more broke, and I didn't even get the nostalgia hit that I was looking for. So number 5 for me is Freakier Friday. But yeah, all right, Rene, number 4. What do you got?
Gosh, number 4, I'm just gonna go with it because it was a disappointment for me. But Osgood Perkins' follow up to The Monkey Keeper was pretty bad. It felt very rushed. I feel like a lot was cut out. It was just really not as good as his other films. The ending is great, but because the rest of the movie is trash, it's not really worth it. But it's a shame because it seems so unique and different, but it's really just, it's super boring. Not much happens. Yeah, it was just really disappointing to me.
Huh. I didn't see that one.
I didn't either. I actually was planning on seeing
Monkey. I wasn't missing much.
Never got around to it.
The Monkey's good, but Keeper is trash.
All right, what about you, D Money? What's your 4?
I have to make
number 1 is definitely below
Don't
Stitch.
push it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. This one I almost forgot to watch this year. The Electric State. God.
Oh
Oh god.
god, I heard that one
I
was
won't even.
terrible.
I won't.
I
I
Oh
won't
man.
even.
was know where to start with this one because I caught this story red-handed, almost like actively refusing to even like openly gesture towards what any aforementioned questions coming out about its recycled ideas because almost literally every single plot point either goes nowhere, doesn't earn its payoff, wildly contradicts everything that preceded it, or is just downplayed for the sake of what a lighter tone shift, and none of it holds enough of a charge or a personality to save itself. Literally everybody is bad in this. I don't really like Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt, anyways. I didn't even know Woody Harrelson was a talking peanut man, and Millie Bobby Brown. Like, oh my god. Eh, I refused to believe that Joe and Anthony Russo directed this because ever since Infinity War and Endgame, and I even noticed this like in 21 Bridges. Like their specialties as directors is just sort of like marvelizing their material. You know what?
Yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. Yeah, I forgot that even came out this year. And I saw the reviews on that. There
Me
was
too.
like this whole big ass cast, $300 million, and the reviews came out, and it was just universally crucified. I was like, yeah, hard pass. Didn't watch it. Didn't watch it. And like the Russo brothers, I love them when they're directing Marvel stuff, but like outside of Marvel, a lot of their stuff I think has been crap. So I usually will tend to skip them
I
unless they have
hated
like the
when they did the
Marvel
Gray
sticker
Man. I
behind them.
absolutely hated that one.
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, I didn't like that one either. And there's the one
Yeah,
with
I
Chadwick
mean that
Boseman.
was
I didn't like
fine
either.
enough,
I
but
don't even remember what
just
that one's
didn't hit me.
called. Yeah, that one. Well, my number 4 was
Uh,
the Materialist. The Materialist, man. Yeah, with
Please
Pedro
tell
and
me it's
Chris
not because
Evans. Yep,
please tell
that
me it's not
one.
because of Dakota. Okay.
No, I thought she was great. Just the story really didn't get me. Like honestly, like I was thinking, like if I had a daughter, I'd want her to choose Pedro Pascal. I don't care if he was one short. I don't care. He seems so much more stable than Chris Evans' character,
You're
and
sort of
the
feeding
movie
into
was
that
just
point
like
Yeah,
though.
I
but
don't know.
Chris Evans is Chris Evans.
Yeah, that's true. But I went into the movie and I was looking kind of like for a rom com. I thought that's what it was going to be, and it was not a rom com, at least not in
I
my
Yeah,
mean,
I
view.
agree.
And I was like, this is just it's
given
just different than I
sorry to
expected.
interrupt.
Yeah, and like I saw this year, I saw everything that Pedro Pascal was in, literally everything, and some of them I love, some of them I didn't like, and just Materialist just didn't. I don't know. And like I said, like I'll be honest, like with my list, if I know a movie's gonna be bad, I probably won't see it. So in this case, like my top 5 probably are like a lot of decent movies for other people. Except for maybe my top 2 aren't. But yeah, it just didn't hit for me for whatever reason. The Materialist just didn't hit for me.
Yeah, I thought it was gonna be funnier too. I mean, I thought it was okay. I definitely liked Past Lives way more. I thought Past Lives had so much tension and like I just wanted the two of them to make out like so bad. And then I also just thought it was a really weird subplot with Pedro's character where he had like that leg surgery to make himself
Yeah.
taller. It was really random and strange. And then like randomly one of her clients was sexually assaulted too. And I was just like, oh my God, what is going on here? And
I'm
then
like,
I also thought it was very predictable
That
who she was
that
gonna
I
end up with,
that
but
that
I
I
would have
that
chose him too.
that was that
it's those biceps.
that was actually a bit of a part of why I ranked the film as low as it did. It actually did. I got so caught up in all the intricacies and all the dating scene and everything else that I almost I wouldn't say I checked out at the ending. When I realized where it was going, I was like, okay, so we're doing this then. It wasn't enough to completely derail my enjoyment, but
Yeah, for me it was like just for a reason. Like I was just like, you know what, this just it didn't quite hit for me the way I thought it would. So yeah, that's why it's number 4 on my list. But anyway, number 3, Rene. Oh, Rene, this is a cat friendly podcast too. If your cat wants to come back,
no.
he totally
I
can.
didn't know if you saw him or not. Yeah, that
Oh
was
yeah,
Rocket.
oh yeah, I saw it, and it's fine. He's
Oh,
cat friendly
God, no.
podcast. If he wants to come back, he or she or they them or
He
whoever,
might. He might.
he can come
We'll
back.
see.
Okay, Rene, number 3 on your
My
list. What's number 3?
3. So another disappointment, but I also kind of wasn't surprised that it was terrible. I'm gonna go with the spiritual sequel, whatever you want to call it. I Know What You Did
God.
Last Summer. Totally fan service. It was just so cringe. I didn't like a single thing about it. And the whole double killer reveal. Have you guys seen it? Do you care if I
give
spoil
the
it?
furry crap
Spoil
of
it.
a rest
For me, at least.
I've never really cared about this series.
Okay, well, skip ahead a couple of seconds. Skip ahead a couple of seconds if you don't want to hear. But so, Freddie Prinze Jr. is in the original. They made him one of the killers in this new one. His character like lost his mind and starts doing the killing. And I was like, me and my friend joked like when that trailer first dropped. We're like, watch, they're gonna make either Freddie or Jennifer Love Hewitt the killer.
were
And then
joking.
they did, and we were just like, oh shit. But it's yeah, they have him. I guess he goes through like a mental break or something. and he's helping one of the newer kids out do these murders. And it's just there's a cameo with Sarah Michelle Gellar, even though her character's dead, doesn't make any sense. It was just added in there just for fan service, but it was just so bad. Like I hated it. Can't say a single good thing about it. Can't.
Good. I didn't see it, and I will definitely now skip it. So
They
there
did.
you go. Now I know what you did last summer. The remake or number 2 or what?
Just watch. I mean, the original. I only
I
love it for
I
nostalgia reasons because it's so
Okay.
nice, and I know it's not actually that great.
definitely one
But
of those
just stick
movies
with
that
the
tried to
original.
capitalize on the screaming
Okay.
phase, and even since the beginning, it didn't exactly do it all that well.
Yeah. Huh. All right, Riptide. What's your number 3?
I know you. I know you're gonna like this one.
Lilo and Stitch.
It's War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that's right.
I haven't had the pleasure of watching that yet, but I
Oh
kind
my-
of
oh
want
my
to.
God.
The memes were
This
too
is-
good.
See if it's as bad as they say.
That was my favorite meme. The caption was like, "When you find out your parents have been Santa all along." It was just like, "It's been you this whole time." That's my favorite meme.
It's just there's a lot of shallow focus.
Yeah, at least
and
we
a
got
lot
good
of, and a
memes
lot
out
of
of 'em.
corporate propaganda, and it's very nickety bare. The last 25 minutes in particular might have been the only point where the movie actually sold me on the destruction. But even then, this is just one of those movies where where I definitely understand how terrible everything is, but I couldn't put it any higher because it's just too damn funny. God, there's such a laughable pretend variety to the tension and the cinematography and just and literally everything else. When when Roderick from Diary of a Wimpy Kids is by far and large the best actor in the whole thing without even having to try, that's not a good sign.
I'll have to watch it. I'm curious.
My number 3 was
Oh, so
Captain
high on
America:
yours.
Brave New World.
Oh,
Yeah, Yeah, dude, Captain America, like that's Captain America, like I feel like his movies are some of the best in Marvel, and all of the criticisms that the MCU's had over the years were like they're just feeding us content, no real substance, no real story. They're passing director after director after director after director. Compared, like this actually was kind of neutral on my list because I had a fun time. You know, it's Captain America with wings. Like some of the stuff pissed me off where it's like you're no Steve Rogers. It's like, dude, this guy is debatably stronger than Steve Rogers is because he has indestructible wings that are sharp as razors. He's flying from DC to the Indian Ocean in 2.5 minutes. Like Captain America could never do that. But you know what actually made it drop this low for me is watching Thunderbolt and Fantastic Four. They were so full of like personality, relatable themes that were well done, well acted. Having this movie compared to those two, I was just like, yeah, it just made it feel worse for me. Yeah, and then like my co-host made a good point when we talked about it, where it's like even like the logic behind it is a little weird. Where you have 20 years of having a Hulk in the MCU. If someone starts to Hulk out, you don't shoot at him. Don't shoot at him. It's just gonna piss him off. And so just like the thinking behind just like even like stuff like that, where I'm like, anyway, that's my number 3. Number 2, Renee.
yeah. Oh, sorry. I just
go
want to
ahead.
make one
Yeah, go
comment
ahead.
on Brave
Yeah,
New
go ahead.
World. So I don't
She liked it.
think I liked it. We'll just say liked.
Okay.
I didn't love it. I'm not going to tell people to go rush and watch it. There's way worse Marvel out there.
Thank you.
Thor: Love and
Saying that
Thunder.
for
I'm
so
not
That's
going to.
true. That is true. That
The
is true.
worst Marvel movie ever.
Awful.
And the one thing I noticed with Brave New World, you could tell what was reshoots or what was stuff they added on. Like everything, the whole side plot with Juan Carlos Esposito's character. I forget which character. I forget the character's name,
Sidewinder.
but like you can tell they just literally filmed those scenes later and just added them in because he's not with any other characters. It's always just
Completely
Anthony
forgot
Mackie
him.
and Juan Carlos Esposito. And it's just the two of them in every scene. So like you can tell that he was not there for the rest of the film. But I did like the subplot with Isaiah and everything, and just like I do with in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the whole thing about though they'll never accept a black Captain America. I like that subplot. I like what they did. It definitely was not perfect. Could have been better. I feel like it was super rushed and they kind of just like threw things together. But yeah, it was
It's
just
probably the
okay,
most
but it's not on my
infuriating MCU
worst.
film I've seen since Love and Thunder.
Good,
But even then,
good.
it's like, hey,
Oh, nothing compares to Love and Thunder. Like when I walked out of Love and Thunder, I was like,
So pissed.
yeah, in like an hour and a half, you're gonna be a Thor
It was
movie with
so
Christian
cringe.
Bale. I'm like, and the goats and
I
fucking Russell
never
Crowe. I'm
Everything is
wanted
like,
to scream
cringe.
"shut up" in a movie theater so many times in my life, and I watched the Cheetah Girls. That was annoying enough. Well, the first Cheetah Girls, at least. Oh, God.
dude. Huh. All right, Renee. Well, what's your number 2? Lead us out for our top 2.
All right, number 2. This one It was a random A24 movie, probably not, I feel like no one saw it anyway, but it was just really stupid, and I just hated it, and it's nothing I liked about it, but Death of a
Well,
Unicorn was really bad. It
Never
just
heard of it.
there's not a single thing that was funny about it. The trailer I thought seemed funny, but the movie itself is just really awkward, and it's not funny, and it's not even, like, creative. It's just really stupid, and I just didn't like anything about it at all. It was just such a
it's
waste of time.
it's not on my
Huh.
list. It's not on
Yeah, I've never
either
even
of
heard of
my
this
lists.
movie
Like
until
worst or dishonorable mentions. I definitely understand your points. They're definitely valid.
but what was yours, D Money?
Okay. This one I'm curious if you guys even remember this one. Good,
Never
good,
Nope.
heard of it.
good.
Never heard of it.
Because let me put because D20. Let me put this to you plainly. How fucking dare you? It's it's like
That bad.
one of the major things I have against this movie is just like the timing and the context of when releasing a movie like this during the complete and utter constitutional collapse of America's legislative, executive, and judicial institutions turns what should have been an achievement into another disingenuous propaganda machine. It's not just hopelessly phony and wildly out of touch, but it's also weirdly insensitive and it's heavy-handed in almost every avenue it tries to go down, and every single attempt at nuance is just sort of like window dressing, especially since the political jab is at racism, sexism, power struggles with the specific positions of authority, terrorists being born as a tragic product of the callousness and greed from powerful countries and deep fake technology and whatnot. They're either intentionally written vaguely to avoid conflict or executed in the least interesting manner possible. And it also doesn't help that the movie feels spectacularly fallen through with a semi campy setup.
I feel like I saw the posters. Like I feel like I saw the
Yep,
poster
it
of
was that one.
Viola at least with a gun or something and like a torn up dress. I think that's all I've seen of
I
it, but
normally
yeah, I
say I'd rather be
never
bored than
heard anything about it.
enraged when I'm watching a movie, but leaving me bored and quietly fuming at the same time, that's its own form of mockery.
Dang, that was a good rant. I will skip that one. I will definitely skip that one, or at least wait until we live in a
What?
healthier world. That's got to be close, right? What a long 10 years this year has been. Anyway, I digress. My number 2 is Eddington. Eddington for me was one battle after another was everything that Eddington wanted to be. I liked Joaquin and Pedro. I didn't like the story much. I didn't like how it went really. I liked the political thriller they had in the first hour. The rest of it, I could have walked out right there and been satisfied. 3.5 stars on Letterbox. And as the hours went on, I just kept going down and down and down. And like honestly, kind of lost me. And this might piss some people off on the podcast, but Ari Aster, he kind of lost me as a director because that ending, like the last 40 seconds, was so weird. I'm like, Robert Eggers is weird, and he incorporates it into his movies to where you don't notice and it gives it personality. I feel like Ari Aster in the last couple movies I've seen of his makes it weird just to be weird because he's weird. And I walked out of there. I had that like it was A24. It was Joaquin Phoenix, Pedro Pascal, who's just one home run after another. I just watched Freaky Tales. I loved him in Freaky Tales. And I watched Eddington, and I could not tell you the disappointment that I had walking out of that theater after I watched that shit.
I fell asleep and I woke up at some point in the theater. I had no idea what was going on. And so I just said to my friend, "Can we go?" And we just left. So was planning to watch it at home. But again, it's
I'm
another
sorry,
like
that was
a
3 hours.
3 hour movie. I gotta just like hopefully it has to keep my attention. It is.
Yep, so that's my number 2. And I almost did put it number 1 because I was so disappointed because I had such high hopes. But number 1, it's maybe not the most terrible number 1 in the world. I won't rant about the way Darius just ranted about number 3 or number 2. But it's pretty bad. But anyway, Renee, what is the number 1 for your list of worst movies of the year?
So it's a sequel, an unnecessary sequel. Marketing was everywhere. We saw it. We saw her. I am going with Megan 2.0. That movie was absolute dog shit. Oh God. And the first one is just like, I didn't mind the first one. I wasn't obsessed with it, but I was okay with it. I thought I laughed at times. I thought it was all right. But this one, it just got really weird because they completely changed the genre from horror to like action adventure, weird. It was just not good. It was just so strange and everything was there's so much cringy horror. Like I don't know how many times I've like wanted to die when I hear hold on to your vaginas. It's just so disgusting. And it's like, I just cringed so much and it was just I wasn't gonna go. I was like, this movie's gonna be dog shit. I'm not gonna go. But then a couple people were like, "No, it's great. It's way better than the first." So I was like, "All right, let me go." And they were wrong. And I let them know that they were wrong, but it's so bad and it flopped real hard to the point where they're supposed to have a spinoff called Soulmate come out next month, and that got completely pulled from the calendar because Megan did so bad. It's crazy. The first movie made like maybe 300 million, I want to say, maybe more than that. I'm not sure, but like the first movie made so much money. And then like opening weekend for the sequel in the United States, it made like less than 10 million. So it was just a huge flop,
God.
huge bomb, totally unnecessary. I
Huh.
mean, I'm sick of Blumhouse. They always try to milk everything. But yeah, so we saw, and you know how much money they spent on the marketing. That was everywhere. In
Everywhere.
front of
It's a
every movie I saw, the
phenomenon.
trailer played, the commercial was on TV, posters everywhere. So you already put money. I mean, yes, I like the Chapel Roan Phenomenon song in there. I did. But that couldn't save it. That wasn't enough for
Allow
me.
me
It
to
was just really
allow me
bad,
to add a
and
couple more
I
points to
hated
that
every second of it.
because the way
Yeah.
that I see it, I know a lot of people gravitated towards and
Nope.
loved the first Megan. There's no question about that. But to me personally, what I took from both movies, to me, the first film was a cautionary tale first and a meme slop bucket second. It may have recycled a lot of the concepts it used, but at least it had personality to spare and surprisingly poised amount of emotion on its sleeve. Emotion that the second film is strictly lacking. I mean, there's no denying its ambition. Me personally, I can make peace with Megan 2.0 being entirely there to show off, get laughs, look really cool, and then disappear. Whoop de freaking do. But it's just, it oscillates between like what, so many different forms without mastering like a single one. Its own self gratification is sporadic to say the least, I believe. And without the narrative, whatever narrative cohesion or emotional resonance there was from the first film, it isn't nearly as fun this time. It's like, you know what this is? This feels like classic Hello Neighbor syndrome. You know that game? Well, yeah, that's fair. Basically, Hello
Mm-mm.
Game was one of those like early beta games like on Steam. It actually was getting a couple. It was actually getting a couple decent good reviews like with every new patch that came out, but then some fans actually started getting a little bit fixated on like this mystery behind like the closet door or whatnot. And when the developers found out what the fans were really getting hyped up about, they sort of overcorrected and leaned way too hard into that, and the rest of the game sort of suffered as a result with each upcoming patch. That's sort of what I felt like is the is that I felt like carried over to Mega 2.0. They Blumhouse probably didn't expect Megan to get a cult following so quickly, but once Blumhouse found out what made it so viral, they leaned way too hard on the viral moments and the memes and the one-liners and whatnot, basically proposing to marry its own parody without buying the ring for it, if that makes sense. I mean,
No, that's a good explanation of it.
it's
Is
on
Megan
my
yours? D
dishonorable
Riptide? Is
mentions
that yours
list.
too or no?
It's on my dishonorable. It's on
Oh, okay. What's your number one? It's Lilo and Stitch. I already know it's Lilo and Stitch. Freeze? Or is he taking a pause?
No, he's reliving the trauma.
Okay. It's definitely Lilo and Stitch. I know. I read his review. His review was, if his review was a movie, it'd be rated R for violence and threats against the people who made it.
I
It's
didn't
Lilo and
bother
Stitch, right?
watching.
yeah.
No, I didn't either.
I didn't think Disney was going to be able to put out
Told you.
a live action remake worse than The Lion King. Like I went through a full decade of this, like live action remake after live action remake, and some were decent. Some were decent. I I am fine with Aladdin and Beauty and the Beast. I tolerated Peter Pan and Wendy or whatnot. It's like people already reached their detonation point with so many of these earlier, and I was worried what mine was going to be. For those of you who were hoping it was Snow White, did you even see this thing?
No, I didn't see either.
Nope, didn't even bother.
This isn't even touching on the ending. I'm gonna get to that in a bit. Let me just start with the visuals first because it I probably should have expected them to get rid of like the watercolor visuals or whatnot. Putting this story in the photorealistic world was always going to be a self-inflicted wound, which means Hawaii now just looks ghastly to look at. It looks Hawaiian in the most generic brochure grazing sense possible. There's a palpable stiffness to how oppressive most of these sets feel. The backdrop makes use of like the most very capitalistic practices the original film indirectly called out for having a bad effect on the locals of Hawaii. Like, why else would Disney change the location just to promote their new Hawaii resort? The cinematography is perfunctionatory. The editing projects the bare minimum of confidence. Every facet of the pacing mirrors a synthetic PowerPoint presentation, and I am not exaggerating when I say every single we're just completely butchered like every step of the way. Lilo is sort of just Lilo. Lilo was sort of just like a bad kid in this. The film just sort of forgets he's supposed to be he's supposed to be mourning. Now he seems to treat Lilo like a burden, like a good chunk of the time. And Lilo, Stitch took the whole everything everything about this plot feels like someone putting down like a handful of aces, except you're greeted by scattered Uno cards ripped in half, snared with store brand peanut butter or whatnot, and just actively set on fire. And that's what constantly nagged me about the structure. Like, the structure of this film in particular. It understands what it's supposed to be doing, but it misses the purpose of that particular inclusion or why the little details matter. It constantly compromises on the themes of the original. It vaporizes all the high intention and negates every emotional stake imaginable. And the lengths it goes to gaslight you only momentarily. It not only fucks with it not only fucks with the intended outcome of the characters implied between actively not calling out the tourism and anti-imperialist rhetorics from the original film, Lilo not feeding Pudge, getting rid of the ugly duckling book, recoding Stitch's earlier malevolent personality to make him more marketable, turning Jumba into the main antagonist at the drop of a dime. Atu's not even in this film. Cobra Bubbles has less of a role here. They restructure the entirety of Lilo and Nanny's relationship to where, again, the former treats the younger sister like a burden. It's literally death by 1,000 cuts. And then we get to oh god, the ending. Somebody stop me. Oh my god. Nope, I'm not done.
It's terrible.
I can work around this obsession of needing this to end in a close to realistic manner possible, changing the message from support makes it possible to hold on to the people you love to sometimes have to let them go and move forward. I mean, it does make for a more grounded conclusion if the story was anything but fucking Lilo and Stitch. From a narrative standpoint, it not only bastardizes Nanny and Lilo's entire journey, but from a cultural and historical perspective, it's just straight up offensive. Because having a Hawaiian family be unjustly separated by forces outside of their control will never not be deplorably terrifying and cruel. There's literally no upside in trying to present the separation as a good thing, especially if you have to lie about it, despite being well aware that the U.S. healthcare system is a joke. Nana's decision had an obvious answer staring her in the face. She literally could have just went to college in Hawaii. It practically has free education over there. So, at least with previous live-action remakes, you can make the debatable argument that many of their issues were due to oversight, taking the safe option, or just juggling more than they can handle. Here, though, it is meticulous how much they bent over backwards and actively fuck up every plot detail, every character relationship, every single dramaturgical, allegorical, contextual layering. And the fact that this made $1 billion at the box office is just a period at the end of the sentence that Disney's priorities were made out of hate, actively taking advantage of Hawaiian culture, all in the name of propaganda. In a year where we're facing nothing but propaganda from our corner of our corrupt government, that goes past incompetence. That's just being a spiteful, cocky prick.
Damn. Well, my number one is Jurassic World because, and it's my fault. It's not Disney's fault. It's my fault. I should have known what I was walking into. It's at this point, you know what you're gonna get, but it's dinosaurs. It's shitty acting. It's a stupid plot.
Oh god!
I took a couple of kids from the foundation. They had a good time.
God!
I was like, this has dinosaurs in it. Why is this so boring? That's my number one, and that's it. That's it. Jurassic World. That was my Jurassic Park.
I just did
6. What are we calling it?
I didn't even bother.
That's number one.
Seeing that one.
Jurassic World. Who gives a shit?
Dominion.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't even want to entertain the idea.
It's bad. It's so bad.
Yeah, it's like I should have known. You know, I mean, obviously I don't hate it as much as you hate Lilo and Stitch, but it was just like, why do I give a shit? Why did I spend?
Like not dragons. The dinosaurs weren't even like focused on that much. Like I was kind of expecting more dinosaurs, and then that other random family
the amount of reviews that I saw
involved,
saying that they could have
that was on like the life raft or some shit, and then like we saved them. Yes, they did not. It was so random. It was just an excuse to add more character. I mean, ScarJo is banking it. She's gonna be signing off for more movies, probably Jonathan Bailey as well, and Mahershala Ali. So I mean, these movies, they have not been good, I don't think, in a long time, but they're gonna keep making money, so they're gonna keep making those movies.
Yeah, I think that's the shame of like what we just talked about with Lilo and Stitch and Jurassic Rebirth or whatever the fuck it's called. But it's just they're making money. Like half the stuff, like at least 2 films on my list, one specifically on my top list, made 0 money, and I could not get enough of this movie. And I'll share what it is later. But it just, people go and get their slop. You know, that's why there's a McDonald's in every corner, and it's hard to find good Indian food because
I mean,
McDonald's is there.
I'm not going to pretend I understand it, but at the same time, it's like Look, I get it. You can have your fluff, you can have your junk food, but goddamn, even junk food has to taste good.
Yeah, I
Oh my
agree.
god.
All right, well, we're turning the page. We're going to the good stuff real quick. But do you guys mind if I take a potty break before we keep going? I gotta take a 2-minute potty break.
Sure.
Okay, I'll be right back. You guys can keep on chatting if you want, but I'll be back. I'm gonna get a vanilla
Right.
Coke too.
My god, are you kidding me?
I was just reading your Lilo and Stitch review. I was curious after you were going off about it. I was like, oh my god, I gotta read it now. Interesting. But I will probably not be watching that one at all. Not at all. Skip that. The only like live action I really liked, Beauty and the Beast was good, surprisingly. I was ready to hate
I can
it.
understand the hesitation. Believe me, I do.
Yeah, it's because it's very weird. He's like an animal.
Mm.
But it was really good, and Aladdin was
I
was
never
okay.
I never really got that much
I've never
into it
actually
either,
really liked
like my
Aladdin that
sister did.
much. Little Mermaid was okay. I mean, again, unnecessary, but it wasn't awful.
gave it away
There's worse ones.
specifically off of that. At least it tried to stay in the lane of what we were familiar with, while trying to add at least a little bit new things to it. But at the same time, it's sort of like Death of a Thousand Cuts. Like when you notice this one detail's off, you then notice another and another and another, and it started to get to the point where it's just like this one little decision, and it sort of rips the band-aid off, and just all the water comes flooding in.
Yeah, that, and then what other one? Lion King was really bad. It was it was just so awkward,
Neither did I.
especially with the animation with all the animals. So I didn't bother seeing Mufasa.
Please,
I don't want to. I'm
please,
like,
please,
no, let's just leave it alone. You
please.
guys are already ruining enough. Don't ruin
Another
Mufasa
reason,
too.
another reason. Sorry to go back to it, but another reason why I don't like Lilo and Stitch. The Snow White. I'm sorry, but this is really important. It Snow White did not do that well the Snow White did not do that well at the box office, to the point where Disney was actually considering stopping these live action remakes altogether. And then this one comes along, makes $1 billion, and now we're back to it again. You actually would have had
Yeah, of course. Because if one of them makes money, all of them are going to, right?
Yeah, my foundation, we're currently suing the company of Pornhub because they host when a guy abuses one of our girls, he puts it on the internet, they profit off of that abuse, right? And we're suing them because we try to get them taken down, all these different things, and they just don't do it. And then when you threaten lawsuits and you threaten to take all their money, that's when they make changes. I share that story to bring it back to what you're talking about with Lilo and Stitch, is until people stop going to these fucking things, these things keep making money. But the only reason that these corporations ever stop making the shit is if you actually go after their bottom line. And $1 billion, like, people should get paid.
Knowledge is a powerful drug.
Yeah. Anyway, bro, Adam,
Okay,
let's
about to.
Okay, Rene, yeah, go ahead. Number 10, Rene, go ahead.
All right, number 10. I'm gonna have to go with Fantastic Four. I thought it was much better than I expected it to be. I really like the whole 60s retro style / kind of futuristic look. I really did like the cast. I thought that they had like enough screen time for each character. And I was a little worried about like Franklin coming in so early, but I think the way they set it up, especially with everything with Galactus and all, I thought they did that very well. I liked Pedro, Vanessa, and Joseph Quinn and Evan. They were all very good. I was not sure how to feel about this movie just because pretty much all of our other Fantastic Four movies are garbage. I actually just saw like the Fox ones for the first time like last year, and I was like, oh my god, these are really, really bad. But it was just nice and refreshing that we actually got a good Fantastic Four. What?
We're still recording on our end, I think.
I've never used this app before, so I have no idea what's going on.
This app is awesome. This app will it makes clips for me.
Oh, good.
Yeah. It basically does all the hard work for me with like the audio and the visual, and yeah. It's awesome. Much better than Zoom. Remember when we used to freaking log in, log out like via Zoom when we did that? God, fucking.
Yeah, that's what I was telling them when you walked away. I was like, I know after like 45 minutes or something, we get kicked out.
Yeah, not anymore. Here's how this is go. Well, you have to pay, but it lets you go as long as you need to.
Okay.
You back in, Team Money?
I'm back in.
All right, Nate, keep going.
All right, there's. Oh yeah, Fantastic Four. The post credit scene I thought was pretty exciting, especially now with like these doomsday stuff we're starting to get. I thought it was a pretty good setup how they're gonna be with the rest of the MCU characters. I originally thought maybe their universe was going to get destroyed in an incursion, and, like, maybe that's how they ended up in at Earth
That's actually what I was
616.
hoping for.
Yeah,
Mm,
but that's not what happened, but I liked it. I really liked what they did. I didn't really have any expectations going into it, so I guess that's why I enjoyed it, but I liked it.
cool. All right, D Money, what's your number 10?
The bottom half of my list tricky tricky putting together. Not because I didn't know which one was gonna go which, but because I actually bumped this up to a top 11 like at the last second. So what I thought was gonna be number 10 now is at number 11. Stuff like that. And hmm. I had a hard time picking which one I actually wanted to go for number 10, but if you had to put a gun to my head and force me to choose, probably go for the long walk.
I like The Long Walk.
Good
Yeah,
one.
Yeah.
yeah. Part of me part of me wanted to put it in at number 9. It's like I can't really think of any major nitpicks I had with it, except that. Oh wait, okay, wait. Oh yeah, actually I can. Actually, I can't. Once you do get a handle on the style and the format of how everything goes on, the story does get a little bit repetitive and predictable fast, with the pacing dipping just a little bit slightly. And for a mostly grounded concept, it does push credulity a little bit with how long some people are willing to go on for. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I mean. I don't really and to be 100% honest, I'm actually one of the few people who don't mind the changes made to the ending, but at the same time, the execution felt just a tad bit rushed and restitched to be subversive for the hell of it, in my personal opinion. But outside of that, I bawled like a baby watching this one. It's honestly very bloody depressing, and it's definitely a credit to Francis Lawrence as director, someone who normally balances grounded storytelling with a more large scale spectacle. It's every bit as visceral as his previous directorial outings, and not only that, the production design, like, this is minimalism at like its absolute best. It's just most abrasively retro and barren, like walking through a thick swamp. Everything is humid and suffocating. It feels foreboding with an oppressive atmosphere, except like it's more grapes of wrath with impoverished, dust bowl desert landscapes. And expectedly, this portrait of America feels like an apt mirror for our own. That's gonna be a theme throughout this list. And cracking frame by frame until at least like but a single place remains. The pacing can feel contemplative, but it never feels stagnant. The musical score doesn't adapt wholly to the oppressive atmosphere and the tone set, but for what it's worth, kudos to him for keeping the score for at least mostly some.
Yeah, I had a really good time with that movie too. I usually don't like Stephen King adaptations, but this one I went and I was like, "Oh, this is good. Really well acted and just very, I don't know, depressing." My only complaint is honestly Mark Hamill. I thought he was a little too campy for like the moment
I
that
I,
the movie was in, but
I didn't mind him. I did sort of have to make up with this because I didn't get to see Lap Chuck, and the
yeah,
last Stephen King film that I remember seeing is that god awful Firestarter reboot back in 2022.
yeah. All right. Well, that's a good one. That's a good start. My number 10 is Predator Badlands.
Mm-hmm.
Predator Badlands was the like I'm not big into like the Alien Predator movies like per se. Like I'm not
Yeah,
really
me
into like
Yeah,
the
I
lore.
understand that.
But man, I went to that movie and I was just like, this is awesome. Like
It was like a buddy alien
yeah.
movie
And just
or
like
Predator or whatever.
yeah,
It was cool. It was fun. I really liked the
yes.
characters. I would love to see what was his name? Dak?
Yeah,
Like I would
Deck.
love to see him and Elle Fanning's character. I would like to see them
Yeah,
more.
me
Like
too.
I would go
And it was
see
something
another movie
different.
with them, but I like that more than I expected as well. I don't usually care for Predator, but I
Me neither.
actually really enjoyed that.
Me too. And the thing that got it for me to the top 10 was the score. I was like, this score is rocking. Like the first like 45 seconds when he's on that motorcycle, I was like, hell yeah. And like the last minute, I was like, yeah, this is great. And so that's my number 10, Predator Badlands.
I would actually pay to see
Nice.
a Predator on a motorcycle.
Yeah, it was cool. I don't know if it was a motorcycle per se,
Yeah,
but he was right on
yeah,
something. He
yeah,
was right on
fine.
something.
Yeah, even so, like to be something different, using we're just saying it out loud on.
Yeah. Moving on. I do want to ask a question before we get to number 9. Who is you guys' best movie villain of the year? Renee?
I am gonna go with just because he was a villain in 2 roles this year, and we're about to see him again next month. But I'm gonna go with
Jack
Jack
O'Connell.
O'Connell in 28 Years Later and Sinners.
Oof.
Thought he was great in both. Granted, 28 years later, we don't really get to see him, but even just the few moments his character was in there, I just was like, this guy is going to be nasty.
Yep.
And I'm so excited to see the Bone Temple, to see more of his character. And then, of course, in Sinners, he was fantastic. I just rewatched that movie like twice last week. He's such a good actor. And I know him from Skins. I don't know if you guys ever watched Skins on BBC, but I've known him from that show, so it's really cool seeing how far he's come since then. But yeah, I'm gonna go with Jack O'Connell in those two roles.
Cool. D Money. Who's your best movie villain of the year?
Good news, Rene. We matched.
Remick from
Nice.
Sinners.
Yeah, Ireland, Great Britain. I may have missed a few details, but if you know your history and you tied into the history going into this movie, Remnick is both a tragic villain and a terrifying one at the same time. He is, in his own strange way, every bit of a victim to oppression and racism as Black people are, but it doesn't change the fact that he's using the same tactics to sort of assimilate them into his own religion in a way to make him feel closer to home. It's even that within itself, it's a lot of multi-layered storytelling that ties both into him as a character and the way Jack O'Connell portrays him. And it's honestly fascinating, all the little intricacies and the way he just dives deep into the role makes him so bloody entertaining. It's honestly one of my favorite performances of the entire year, and it's not even a question.
Yeah, he's a fantastic actor.
Yeah, I can't wait for him for next month's Bone Temple either. But I'm not going to match with y'all. My favorite movie villain was Lockjaw from One Battle After Another. That guy was such a piece of shit.
Okay.
Oh,
I
yeah.
see.
That guy
I
was
see you. I
fucking
see.
No, I don't
terrible.
know if Sean Penn was really acting.
Yeah, no kidding. He was, every second he was on screen, I was like, oh, I hate you
He's
so
being
bad.
himself. He's being himself. He was not playing a
Yeah,
character.
there you go. That was mine. I was like,
That's a good one.
Yeah, I can see that.
When I saw that, I was just okay. Renee, number 9. Who's your number 9?
All right, my number 9 is very recent. I saw it earlier this week, and it was absolutely amazing. And I know some people are gonna be like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" But I am putting at number 9 The Housemaid. I had so much fucking fun watching this movie.
That's
It is like the perfect movie that, like, of course, like Sydney Sweeney's character is a dumb bitch, and like you're gonna be yelling at her the whole time because you're like, she's so stupid. Like her character is just gonna annoy you. And then Amanda Seyfried is really the one that carries the movie. She is phenomenal, and I couldn't get enough of it. But it's one of those movies that are great with a crowd. My audience, we were all like yelling together and like sighing at every part that was annoying, but like it was so entertaining. Lots of twists and turns I didn't expect. I never read the book, so I didn't know what to expect at all. But I had so much fun. I did not think I was going to. It was honestly probably the biggest surprise for me.
That's awesome. Okay, D Money.
This one, depending on who's watching, they're either gonna agree with me or they're gonna groan. I haven't seen a whole lot of pushback, recent pushback against this one, but I don't know. I guess Alec Garland's work just rubs up off me. I'm putting Warfare.
I like that one a lot.
I like how it was told in real time. Like that was pretty intense. Being actually with them, that whole like was hour and a half. I mean, Joseph Quinn was just
I know.
screaming the
I'm
whole
honestly
time.
surprised. I'm honestly surprised that didn't annoy me.
And he's so good in everything, that dude.
He
God,
really
he's good in
is.
everything.
But then again, this is what happens when you pair together a director famous and infamous for blending the natural with the unnatural in a postmodernist approach with a former Navy SEAL and an Iraq war veteran. It's almost a bittersweet bliss, this combination of Alex Garland and Ray Mendoza. It's this precariously anchored dance, I guess, of Garland's unsettling disparity and Mendoza's trench-born insights, and it generates this purposely tedious piece that is as much about being lost in the war of memory as it is about basically war. It is basically war itself. This is one of those A24 movies where the style becomes the substance, as every technical and oral element just sort of adapts to this crippling dichotomy of volatility to sell. The portrait gets totally laid out in full with the production design. The impeccable recreation succeeds in boxing in the characters and the audience alike within these claustrophobic confines. And each composed frame of the cinematography, it holds significant weight. The natural lighting and the saturated color palettes actually do add to the sense of chaos and confusion ones. The music score being completely non-existent. I haven't exactly seen a film that almost didn't have a musical score since the original Exorcist. The sound design has to carry the weight of that load, and it manipulates every other sound in its disposal to use the way a weapon would to disorient, basically. And the foray in action that we're given here, it's nothing short of uncomfortable. It doesn't exactly last a whole lot longer, but when given to us sparingly and in moments where we don't want it to occur, and because it's so casual and matter of fact, it does hit tenfold hard.
Yeah, I really like that movie too. My number 9 though is
Uh-huh.
Frankenstein. I thought Frankenstein was beautifully shot. I loved just the acting in it. I love Oscar Isaac and almost everything he's in. The when it first came out, like it got a lot of like critical, I guess I don't know what the right word is, but just like the critics weren't huge fans of it. Specific influencers that I follow, and I'm just like I don't get it. Like I thought it was great. Like yeah, I didn't follow the book exactly.
Does it need to though?
Whatever. Like it looks great. Yeah, it's like it looks great. It feels great. It's a great story. I thought it was really well done. I was really invested on both sides. They were like, well, the story kind of dies off when you go to Frankenstein's point of view. I
Thank
disagree
you, thank you, thank
100%.
you.
I was like, I thought I was more invested like in that story that they were telling versus like Dr. Frankenstein himself. Like I was way more interested in Frankenstein's monster. Um, but yeah, number 9, clocked in number 9 on my
Very,
list.
very versatile so far. I like it.
Very good. All right. All right. Next question, y'all. Before we go on to number 8, I want to know, um, what is your most anticipated TV show for 2026, if you have one?
Oh God. I guess with the shows, I guess I'm just trying to think of the shows I watched the next seasons. One of the few shows I did watch was Dexter Resurrection. I'm a big Dexter fan. I'm assuming that next season's next year. I don't even know. So I guess that I don't think I can say The Last of Us. It's probably
Yeah,
not
yeah. I
No,
coming
think
not
it
out
like
next
puts
next
up
year.
at
year.
2027 at the latest.
Yeah, I watch a lot of Bravo reality TV shows.
Oh, I
So
know yours,
that's what I'm
bro.
looking
It's
forward
The
to.
Secret Lives of Mormon Wives season 5 or
Oh
whatever.
yeah, give me all that trash
Yeah,
television. I
that's
love it.
that's the one. That's awesome. What about you, D Riptide? What's
To
yours?
be 100% honest, I mean, not much really
You don't
tickles my
you don't have
fancy right now outside of the final season of The Boys coming in April. But but logic. I
that's
I
mine.
mentioned my friend Gabby like when we were doing the Scream. I mentioned my friend Gabby when we were doing the Scream rankings. She also sort of got me into Bridgerton in a way, and I know that's having another season come out recently. So I may give that a try too. You never really know.
Okay, mine's The Boys, no doubt. Been following that show since the beginning. I love it. Mine is The Boys. Looking forward to seeing
I
how that
really got to
story
get
ends.
around to like doing my own ranking video on that because I have to redo my ranking video now to include Gen V if I can. I've been trying to get to it since like the fourth season ended, and I keep getting distracted.
Yeah. All right. All right. Number 8, Rene, lead us off.
All right, number 8 was a sequel that had many other sequels before it, but this one was absolutely amazing. I had the time of my life. It got great critic scores, but I'm going with Final
Uh,
Destination Bloodlines. It was so fun. It was hilarious. I know I love the Final Destination series. I know they're not actually good movies, but this one was actually good. And I thought the plot was a lot better than all the other movies, and it's just everything. The gore was great. The opening sequence was awesome. All the ways that all these characters die is just so crazy and funny, and I really just thought that they kept the Final Destination feel to it, and I wasn't let down at all. I thought it met my expectations, and it was just a super fun movie.
Cool. Riptide.
As someone who only heard of the Bottom Destination films in passing, that's very nice to hear actually. Okay. My number 8. I actually had to go a little bit abroad for this one. The Ugly Stepsister.
Mm,
Body horror definitely has sort of
yep.
been body horror had definitely been making the rounds in the past year or so.
Yes.
Together was receiving its fair share of love, and I adored the substance absolutely. So to me, like multiple reviews had to sell me on this movie before I even got to it, and my own curiosity got the better of me. And I got to say this definitely was a hoot. You guys, I am a sucker for intricately atmospheric production design. This one is equal parts decorative, surreal, and magical with its gothic aesthetic. Like stepping out from a medieval tapestry, 19th century quasi period piece recreation, all that. Attention to detail is very stark, very staggering. every corridor or muddy exterior, it chokes with this moody unveiling of the decadence of nobility that hides in luxury. The time period rarely becomes a mere cage or a gimmick when the cinematography captures the almost carnivalesque staging with this claustrophobic gaze. The editing stitches this together with precision. The macro bay costumes are immeasurable. They're all dramatically theater-esque and grounded extensions of the characters' personalities and desires, and I love that too. Practical effects are visceral. The tension is rationing. It's a ratcheting pressure cooker full of stomach churning unease, waiting for the other shoe to drop. Much of the sound design is equally meticulous, and the tone it practically rides a unicycle over a tightrope between being depressingly dark and embarrassingly chuckle worthy. I can understand if some people consider the tone to be more mean spirited, but it's only as cruel as the original Grimm Brothers fairy tale was.
Yeah.
What I like about
Yeah, I like that one a lot. I thought it was pretty crazy with the gore, and I like the twist at the end. That was fun. Yeah, the her
he
didn't she like break her
she
toes
literally
or
cut her
something to
toes
fit into
off.
the shoe
I
or
was
cut her
literally
toes off
screaming,
or
please
something?
don't, please don't. What are you doing?
Woo! Yeah,
Oy, oy,
that and then the tapeworm.
I'm honestly surprised it didn't throw up there. I
Woo!
will admit, I will admit, stuff like that, narratively, it can lose momentum a little bit at times. It lingers a little too long at the grotesque at the expense of character development and pacing to the point where, I don't know, it does tend to overshadow the film's more nuanced social commentary. A little bit. But even then, that calling card sort of remains sturdy. The story is very hyper aware of the sexual and patriarchal imagery of the original Cinderella story, and the plot holds no quarrels over its own deplorable nature. It revels in its repulsive beauty, challenges the original story's archetypes and the audience's expectations. It doesn't so much subvert them as it does interrogate them, teases out the threads of desire and societal pressure that run through the original fairy tale with a slow burn, emphasizing the real point of survival, and it shows more than it tells, which is a big plus for me. Admittedly, though, Ethos isn't the most sophisticated in this story in the attempt at brooding philosophical inquiry. It's not wholly surface level, but it doesn't go as far as I would want the story to go. But then again, excess overload wasn't really the point of the story, so who am I to complain?
I have not seen that one. I might have to see that one the way you just described it. But my
That's good.
my number 8 is Train Dreams on Netflix. Yeah, I'm a big again nature stan, and so the fact that like most of that movie takes place like in a forest, like Idaho and Washington, I thought was just awesome. I feel like the cinematography in it was just gorgeous. Like every shot was just beautiful. It's heartbreaking when you live in nature, the reality of nature, like the fires and the cold and all these different things, and just the American man and their desire to survive. It made me believe in the whole damn thing, as John Bernthal puts it on his Instagram. Train Dreams. That clocks in at my number 8.
Yeah,
Very recent. I think
yeah.
it came out last month. Kind of on this.
Yeah, I just started hearing about it.
Yeah, it kind of came out around the same time that Hamnet did, and so I just recently watched it. Big fan. It's slower. It's definitely it's not a slow burn, but it has its parts where
I've definitely grown more attached to slow burning films, like the more I've done these type of reviews or whatnot. I actually was planning on getting the Train Dreams before I got onto this call and whatnot. I didn't get the chance. I stopped.
Yeah, you should check it out. It's good. Okay, before we go on, what was your guys' most overrated film of 2025?
You can go first. I gotta think about this. Go ahead, Darius.
I think there is one that comes to mind. I gotta look it up. I think it's on the tip of my tongue. Hold on.
I'll tell you mine right now.
Sorry.
Mine is Hamnet.
Okay.
Mine is Hamnet.
Okay. You know what? Okay, I guess I can understand that a little bit.
Mine was Hamnet. Now it made me cry. It was the last hour was beautiful filmmaking. The first hour, I was so colossally bored in that movie. Like you talk about slow burn, and then there's like slow burn with a cigarette. Hamnet for me was like a slow burn with a cigarette that first hour. I'm glad I stayed. The second hour was great, but the first hour for me, like I was just like, oh, okay. It was beautifully shot, beautifully made. I get the hype behind it, but man, that first hour was hard for me to get through. That's my most. So I think it's a little bit overrated. I'm sure it's like a better film than Predator Badlands, like for example. So it didn't clock my top 10. But if you're gonna put me Train Dreams against Hamnet, I'm taking Train Dreams.
Fair point.
6 times out of 10.
Everybody's opinions are meant to be subjective.
Yeah.
And speaking of,
Yeah. I knew you'd like that one too, because I watched your
Speaking
reaction
of,
out of the theater, bro. I knew you'd like that one too.
overrated film, you said? I found mine. Smashing Machine. Like
Didn't see that
I
yet.
didn't that make like $3 million or something?
like
Yeah, but A24 movies, they're all cheap.
Okay.
peaks and valleys and lows just for experimenting for like the next big high or whatnot. And its most profound strengths begin and end at that lead performance, and Ben Sappy's ambition to again not walk that well trodden path. But but it tries to straddle a gritty character study, a glossy Hollywood biopic, and a stiff docudrama. Even though there already was a stiff docudrama on this particular character, on this particular real life person, and the end result just feels over. It feels over. It's, for lack of a better term, the entire thing just feels hollow, and there's only so much Rocky can do to lay this smackdown on you.
Yeah. All right, Renee, you got the most overrated yet?
I guess. I guess this is just one I didn't think was as great as I've seen a lot of people were talking about it. But I don't know if either of you saw Dangerous Animals, that shark movie
Yes.
from like Australia, I think. It was okay, but I don't think it was this groundbreaking kind of horror film that some people are talking about. It was kind of a lot of tropes of your usual shark movies. Gore was nice, yes, of course. The lead actor was good, but I just thought the movie was okay, nothing special, nothing I haven't seen before.
Nothing's gonna be Jaws.
But
I'm
yeah, I guess
sorry.
that's my overrated one.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's it.
All right, Renee, get us started. Number 7. What is your 7th ranked
Okay.
movie of the year?
Number 7, I'm going with Thunderbolts. I
Very
did
good.
really love it. It was so hard to figure out where to actually place it in my top 10. I wanted it higher. I don't know, but I do love this movie a lot. I really appreciated the plots more paying attention to the mental health, and I wasn't expecting that. I really love the cast. I think everybody was casted very well. Granted, it's not perfect. I kind of wish that they just didn't
I
include
get, again, they
Taskmaster.
wasted
That was kind of a
Taskmaster.
waste.
Yeah.
um, Granted, originally originally she did have more of a oh my god role, but they like cut her out completely. So there was that. I wish Ghost, because I feel like with everybody we didn't see everybody's like dark memories when they were trying to save
I'm
what's his name, and they were all
Bob.
going through their darkest memories. Bob, there you go.
Yeah.
Bob, how different
Yeah,
Bob.
I got you.
But they didn't show Ghosts. Like I would be very curious to see what like her darkest moment was, and
we do
then
technically get enough of it if you saw Ant-Man and the Wasp, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure there was more to it, and they really could have expanded upon it.
yeah. Yeah, I definitely would have liked to see that. Florence Pugh
Indeed,
was
she
an
was.
absolute standout. She's always a kick-ass actress. No matter what role she does, she kills it. But I was just really surprised at Thunderbolts. I mean, it wasn't like your typical Marvel film where there's always tons and tons of big explosions and action. And there wasn't any like big like fighting action sequence at the end. Like no big boss they were against really. It was kind of just them going after their like darkest memories and saving Bob. But I really enjoyed it a lot more than I thought. It was they're so good. The whole cast has works together so great. Really wish there was more Bucky. I feel like he had a much smaller role than
If
I
what I
expected.
hear is true,
Um
Doomsday
but
may
I
be the
loved
last
it.
time we
Cool.
see Bucky. So in a way, if
Don't
Yeah.
don't don't fucking say
I
that, bro.
that honest,
Don't
I think
don't,
Sebastian's
don't
done.
project that into existence.
that
It's
was
only
the
been 20 years,
that was
Renee. It's only
the
been
gist I
20
was
years.
getting from Sebastian Stan's performance in that movie. I think he's on his way out.
Probably.
All right, bro, what's your
My
number 7?
my number 7. I had to find a way to squeeze this on this list somehow. It's Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Oh, man, Guillermo del Toro's iteration. It was always going to tread familiar ground, but at the same time, there's something emotionally poignant about this version of the tale that makes it so engrossing. Like, it's not enough that he puts his genuine obsession and affinity for drawing monsters into the margins of his own life at the forefront, but seizing the familiar narrative and refusing to allow it like the dignity of stasis. He lurches forward with this hypnotic grace and stitches together a tapestry of delightfully ghoulish intrigue. That being said, the deliberate judgment, I guess, does cope the psychic rot of the story's heart in a more black and white lens, and it does drain some of the more moral ambiguity that made Shelley's original text so hauntingly complex. But that's sort of like tales of the trade. Variety is the spice of life, after all, I guess. It's also it's almost moving the production design and the locations to like the Victorian era grounds for this. The way they did it, it's almost crucial in a way. This crackerjack hybrid of gothic romanticism and neurological illustrations. It's like living tissue grafted and stitched together with surgical precision and painterly painterly composition. Like it drives a hard stake into the viscera of the moment as far as creating a labyrinth of the juxtaposition of tactile, beautiful decor and the atmospheric grandiosity that Del Toro normally specializes in.
Very good. My number 7 is Fantastic Four, Rene, so I'm going to match your Marvel theme for number 7. Same thing that you already mentioned. Like I loved the aesthetic. I love Pedro Pascal in it, Joseph Quinn, like all these actors. And my only complaint was the post-credit scene. I wanted to see Doctor Doom. I didn't want to wait any longer to see him.
I mean, I can't say,
but whatever.
I mean,
whatever, make me wait. That's fine.
4 films of him not being a great antagonist, and it's like I'm not gonna mention Ben Forstick. You can't make me.
Oh God, that movie sucked.
It's like I don't know how I feel about Robert Downey Jr. as coming back as Doctor Doom. On the one hand, there is a story in the comics that do sort of explain that transition, so I'm curious to see how they're going to sort of merge it with the superior Iron Man sort of like structure and the bones of it. But at the same time, there's a lot of moving pieces going into Doomsday, and this is one of those areas where I'm not exactly sure how they're going to do it in a satisfying way, at least to me. I'm still like at arm's length with the MCU, even though I'm back to watching the films and all that. I'm cautious is all I'm saying.
Okay, Rene, number 6. What's your number 6?
Number 6 is The Long Walk for me. I was very surprised with The Long Walk. I thought it was really intense.
God.
Especially the dude getting diarrhea while he was walking. I was like, oh my God, that's the worst situation possible. But also, like you guys pointed out, the acting, Cooper Hoffman and David Johnson are fantastic. And they're even doing another movie together. I forget what it's called. I was trying to look it up, but I'm excited to see them together again because they have amazing chemistry. But the story was just very emotional, and I thought I would get bored just watching them walk for 90 minutes, but it was not boring. It was very just emotional, intense, and oh my God, my jaw dropped so many times, and then especially at the end too, it was just much better than I expected it to be, and yeah, brutal at times, but it was a good one, definitely up there for me.
Cool.
Okay,
right, Riptide, what's your number
for a fact that
6?
Renee's going to disagree with this one. My number 6 is Wake Up Dead Man. Yeah, I know. I know everyone's favorite taste. I do admit, I absolutely adore like the previous 2 Nine films as well, and I was definitely excited for this one. I do admit I was a little bit. I wasn't on the fence for this one. I knew it was gonna be good. But given the themes that it was going over and how it decides to wrap up, I had to actually go back and watch this a couple more times to sort of get the gist of what I was trying to go for. And when I did, I ended up liking this as much as I ended up liking this as much as the other films. The first film tackling trust fund dysfunctional white privileged families. Second one being a gleeful takedown of Elon Musk and tech bro culture. I mean, to me, it only made sense that they'd go a step further and pick apart the Christian Catholic religion. To me, I feel like this one is the most straightforward out of the 3. It's more of an overt tribute to the urtext of impossible crime solving, and with more quantity focus, to me at least, saving its more farcical satirical bits to pop up in restrained spurts while getting to the real heart behind how and why people do what they do. At least to me, that curiosity does get bubbled and boiled over through Johnson's bait and switch and back to bait again, plotting to seduce you with a complex recursion of secrets waiting to be excavated by the right questions. And to me, that sort of takes on the best of both worlds of what he normally does well with these Knives Out films. Its tricky sleight of hand operates within the realm of recognizable human experience, and that interplay between Judd's refusal to reduce people to clues, contrasting Blanc's atheism and insistence on accountability and moral clarity. It constantly keeps the themes of the film at the forefront while not sacrificing the scope of the murder mystery. And given that these movies normally do a good job of playing fair with the audience and letting them think far ahead to deduce for themselves, to me, that's where the ambiguity of the motive hits the most to me. Now, I do I do admit I did originally sympathize with complaints on how much of an afterthought the rest of the ensemble is. Said I originally sympathized with it.
Total waste.
I like it,
Uh,
bro. Mine was my number 6 was One Battle After Another. I thought that was everything that Eddington wanted to be. I love Leo DiCaprio in it. There's so many lines in that where I'm just like when he forgets his password, when he's yelling about life, when he can't find a gun, so he's got to set it with nunchucks. And like the like masculinity for me was such an interesting theme this year where in this movie, like the most like because like essentially this kid is not Leo's kid. It's not Bob's kid, but it's his kid, and he takes the responsibility. A very flawed father, but a father nonetheless. I was just and this watching in IMAX that scene of the chase scene. I was like legit like whoa.
That
Like,
was so like nerve
yeah, it
wracking.
was.
I was just like, oh my god.
Yeah, just the way it's filmed and shit. I was like,
Yeah.
I was just like, it was on my radar a little bit, but like not a lot on my radar. When I saw it, when like the buzz that came out of it, I don't think it's one of the greatest movies ever made that people are saying it is, but I really had an amazing time with it, and it made my number 6.
Nice.
oh boy.
All right, we have entered the top 5. Renee, lead us out on the number 5.
Number 5, I think might be on both your lists. I don't know. We'll see. But another big surprise this year, we were already talking about it earlier, but Sinners is my number 5. After rewatching it recently, there's just so much that I love about it. I mean, the way it's filmed, the acting, Michael B. Jordan is so good. Again, Jack O'Connell, and Haley
Miles Caton.
Steinfeld, and I forget the actor's name, but their nephew in it, the one that's Sammy. It's all so good. There you go. Thank you. But I especially love the scene when
In the aspect
they
ratio,
all
and
line up to get
it
ready
does
for
it
the
like what
doors to
3, 4
open for
separate
the
times.
vampires to come in. I think that's when like the aspect ratio switches. Yeah, it's so like that scene is so great. And I remember just seeing it in the theater when the one woman invites all the vampires in. I was getting so pissed. I was like,
I
this
get it. Like I
stupid
get it.
bitch, are
She's
you
thinking of her
serious?
daughter and all that, but at the same time, now you're gonna
But
die, and
it
now you're
was
gonna get
just
a chance
a
to see
lot of
her
fun.
anyway.
Girl,
Yeah.
you just ruined everything, girl. But it's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed the movie. It's very entertaining. I could definitely watch it again, but it's unique. Definitely an original film this year that was refreshing to see. And I know I'm usually probably going to be satisfied with Ryan Coogler. So, and again, I was. He's a fantastic director. Everything about
Please
this was
no,
great.
just no.
I love how successful it became. I don't really want there to be sequels. I don't want them to milk this. Yeah, I don't. Like, just leave it alone,
Yeah.
please. Not everything needs a sequel. And I also just love the ending sequence when he kills all the like KKK guys and
The true villains.
yeah, the
Yeah.
actual villains. But Sinners was a really great, entertaining movie for sure.
I
100% agree.
don't know or
Okay,
think this is
Riptide, what's
on
your number
either of
5?
your list, but this one to me was probably the biggest surprise of the year. It blew up on Netflix, and I finally got the chance to see it in theaters when I made time for it. Come on, it's K-pop Demon Hunters.
Very cool. No, I didn't see that one. I have the song.
I like the music.
I do too.
even
How it's
e-
done.
even
I have that on my workout playlist.
Got some bops.
yeah, I hear that a
Yeah.
lot. Even
It was cute.
putting aside how popular even putting aside how popular the song is on, there's something pithy and waggish and playful in the way that Maggie King, who by the way, this is her directorial debut, by the way, it's it's almost like a spiritual commitment to his own reverence, but but otherwise it's an exercise of tight kinetic control that's both weirdly sincere and sincerely weird. If you know, this puckish energy goes all the way into the realms of pure cartoon, but also leans enough into grounded reality and stylistic excess to power that thesis statement. And Oh my god, I love the way this film looks. It's this hyper real sheen that samples, remixes, and then lampoons decades of anime traditions, drawing, taking inspiration from webtoons and Korean graphic novels. This ceaseless, inventive visual tapestry that's as much of a homage to K-pop's aesthetic as it is a send up of it. This glitter cannon barrage, basically. Every frame is a juggernaut of visual force, a kinetic roar of color, rhythm, and light so saturated you can almost smell the battery acid tang off of it. There's god, would border on annoying if not for the earnest tongue-in-cheek love for the subject matter. And some discrepancies can be found where the frame rates swing from buttery smooth to deliberately jerky, but it's never stylized at the expense of clarity or narrative direction. Of course you do.
I did not see that one, but I have the soundtrack on my phone because there's a few bangers on that soundtrack. But my number 5 is Superman. Superman, that was probably my most anticipated. Yeah, punk rock. It was probably my most anticipated going into 2025. And it did not end up on my number 1, but I thought it was great. I thought the visuals were great, the story was great, positivity. David Cornsett is great Superman. The scene where he's with his parents in Kansas made me cry in the theater. I'm just a really despicable villain in Lex Luthor. And I love the whole conversation around, me and Rene talked about this on one of our podcasts, where like the wokeism, because he happens to be from a different planet and he's kind and he's human, and the correlations you can make there between like our current political moment.
Thank you.
And I'm like, I think Rene said it best, where it's like, it's not woke, you're just an asshole. And I'm just like, I did, and it was just awesome. Like I'm still hesitant with James Gunn, but I'm excited to see more of Superman because I thought they killed it with Superman.
Yeah, me too. Another fun fact, David Cornsweet is actually from Philly too. So,
Very good.
he's actually part of an acting group nearby that my friend was a part of. She didn't know him, but she knew people who were friends with him. So that's another fun fact. But he was a great Superman. I really was not looking forward to the movie, even though I love James Gunn personally. But
Yeah.
I guess the DC before just did us real bad, okay? And I had no faith. So I went in this with no expectations, really, and I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. And I just thought the casting was perfect. And I actually liked that they started off like, what was it, like 3 years he's been around already
Yeah.
or something? I think in the beginning it
Something like
says he's
that.
been around for 3 years. So we didn't have to see no backstory or anything like that. Like, we know he's not really from Earth, blah, blah, blah. But for the first movie in
I
this new
definitely understand
DCU, it
definitely
was
understand that too.
a
The
good setup.
Yep.
DCEU
I
definitely
agree. Yep.
burnt.
Same here. Alrighty. Renee, start us out. Number 4, top 4.
All right, number 4, another horror movie, shocker. Another one that blew up this
David
year.
11.
Weapons.
There you go.
I
Weapons.
knew it.
That
Such
was
a
my
weapon
number 4.
stand. Dang.
Very incredibly unique. I had so much fun with this film. I really liked how it told the story in different perspectives and how it all tied in at the end. I also really appreciated how they did not show Gladys in any of the trailers, whatever. I thought that was incredibly smart. Like, her appearance, I'm just like, who the fuck is this lady? And then I was like, oh wow, she's fucking shit up. Like, she was a really great character. The cast is amazing. You know, Julia Gardner, Josh Brolin, Austin Abrams, Benedict Wong. You know, everybody was good. The whole perspective in Alex's perspective was so sad. But I
It
mean,
was
in the
cathartic.
end, that ending sequence was so good. It's just them ripping her apart was iconic. Just them chasing her through the neighborhood. My theater was cracking up. Like, we were all just like, "Oh my god, what is happening? This is amazing." But it was a very nice surprise. I did like Zach Krager's previous movie Barbarian a lot. So far I really like how he's doing horror. He is supposed to be doing, well, he is doing, they're filming it right now, the Resident Evil movie, which who knows how that's gonna go. I'm hoping it'll actually be like the games and just be good for once, but you know, we can never get a good Resident Evil movie.
Yeah, no shit.
But he's a great filmmaker. I like his movies so far, and Weapons, I really enjoyed it more than I expected. It made a ton of money, more than expected, and it was just really good. Like that a lot.
Cool. All right, Riptide was number 4.
I had to do a double take on this one battle after another. I definitely understand why some people
choice.
are turning against it, because I sort of had like the same. I sort of had the same. I sort of had the same attitude towards it after a little while. Like, and keep in mind, this is like my first ever Paul Thomas Anderson film in theaters, and it just so happened to be this one. So like, but everybody kept saying it was a masterpiece, best film of the year, blah blah blah, that whole kid and caboodle. I knew one or two things was gonna happen. I was either gonna walk away disappointed or I was gonna agree with them. And as much as I wanted to be a contrarian, I kinda have to agree with them. PTA's directing style, it feels definitely like a hybrid between like his old and his current days, like the heightened maximalist chaotic days of old and the more minimalist observational eyes of now. There's an equal amount of trepidation and resigned cynicism in the like what his carnivalesque strokes to feel cautiously optimistic and pessimistic at the same time. There's like brief spurts of anger and righteousness in his trademark indulgent impulses, mostly masked by maturity, I guess. Also, taking a vaguely contemporary setting and lending enough grit and resplendence to ground the realism while embracing the stylistic flourishes. It doesn't even begin to describe how immaculate the construction of this Americana takes an already fully realized world and just make it look effortless. Like so much of this presentation is already visually loose and retrofitted to be as much of a throwback as possible without drawing attention to itself. And the symmetry and the immediacy of the camera work and the editing, the subdued costume design, the satire and comedy has enough bite to it to me. There's a fierce urgency in the drama and the thematic heft behind it, how it boils into the tension. The tone is a hexagonal fault line that conjoins so many genres together and yet avoids being moralizing or sappy. And I mean, to say this is a colorful ensemble would be bloody the understatement. Some of the characters were outrageously exaggerated, others felt underdeveloped, and the rest aren't that likable. Yet their contrasting personalities do help them bounce off of one another and help them stand out in the way. Me personally, though, I think Chase Infinity makes her the de facto star of this show. And to me personally, as much as I liked Leo and Benicio in this movie, it wasn't even a contest to me. The gloves, as far as the story is concerned, 2025 was definitely the year the gloves came off as far as calling out our government for willingly sleepwalking into the vice grip of authoritarianism and not even trying to stop it.
Alrighty. My number 4 was Sinners. Yeah, I really thought about throwing this around in like my top 1, 2, or 3, but just there's so many good ones that I kept up there instead that were maybe more impactful to me personally. But like we've already talked about it. It's unique. Michael B. Jordan, Haley Steinfeld, Jack O'Connell. Can't wait for his next project. And so Sinners clocks in at my number 4.
Yeah. The nitty gritty.
All right, Rene, we have come into the top 3. What is your number 3 movie? Yes, for year of 2025. What's number 3 on your list?
Another horror movie. Mentioned it earlier a little bit, but I'm gonna go with Together. Body horror it's been so good the last year, and I'm sitting Together didn't disappoint. It was gross, it was disturbing. There was also funny moments and moments where I wanted to scream, like the bathroom scene. Oh my god. But I thought the story was again not really one I've seen before. Granted, there was that whole controversy about them allegedly copying off of another story. But either way, I still liked it. I thought it was really cool seeing Dave and Allison together on screen. The fact that they're married in real life and their promotion for it was awesome too.
Way.
And being a millennial and growing up with Spice Girls, I can no longer listen to Two Become One the same. It is now a completely different thing to me. And I loved that. I loved the ending. I do wish that they had gone more in depth with the cult and like we learned a little more background about that cult rather than just their one neighbor we learned about. But other than that, I really enjoyed it. I watched it a couple times already, and
the same.
It was just gnarly. I loved it.
Nice.
Way now.
Oh yeah, I think of that movie every time I hear that song. Oh god, so good, so good.
Huh.
Married.
Well, what is that movie called again, Rene? Together?
Yeah, with Dave Franco and Allison Brie.
Yes,
okay,
that's the one.
Okay, I didn't see that one.
You
Is that the one where
should.
their lips are touching in the poster?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. Nice.
It's a good one. It's a good
All
one.
right, I'll put my list. I'll go watch it. D Riptide, you're up, buddy.
It's
number
your overrated
3.
film logic. It's Hamnet for number 3 for me. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry, man. That's how it is. It's like, no.
I knew it. I knew it was coming.
With the fact that but me personally, Romeo and
That's
Juliet is my
fine.
personal favorite work of
It
Shakespeare,
is what it
but
is.
Hamlet has to be like a very, very close second. The Danish prince's tortured soliloquies, the fevered unraveling of mind and fate, the lingering somberness regarding lost and the
Yep.
twisted tragedy. Like it always had me spellbound, even when I was back in charter school, because yes, I was in charter school back in New York. The fascination to learn what inspired such a story like this always sort of nudged at me. Little did I know the mess it would have left me in. It is this e- even putting aside like that final hour where everything sort of comes together, even when it starts, to me at the very beginning, it is ritualistically, poetically beautiful, and I don't think there was anybody else who could have directed this better than Chloe Zhao. Like her sensorial directorial style, and I think her directing style was a match made in heaven here. Her near documentary naturalism, ethereal imagery, the precise intuition, it's like restless lyricism here. Her discipline in correlating this deluge with this alive liminal state. Like it's nothing short of hypnotic, even hallucinogenic in a way. As single-minded as her vision is, there's still this delicate ablation of form and content that she pulls off that very few directors could. Intentional to the point of subconsciousness, yes, but to me, this is Chloe Zhao at her most confident. And I like the fact that this movie in particular fuses a decent scope and scale with a tangible, porous world that actually mirrors a period piece and the framing of O'Farrell's poetic the cadence to her book. Because yes, this was based off of a book in 2020. Shocker. Looking back at it now at the presentation for this, it not only utilizes, but it also actively encourages the same kind of close reading and symbolic analysis that literary critics will often apply to Shakespeare's works, and that we have to pick apart for ourselves watching the films and reading his work growing up in school. At least that's the way I felt. And when you really consider the structure itself, oscillating between the brief boundaries between performance and reality, the sweaty bodily presence of grief, and the vaporous a temporal logic of memory. It's controlled with the almost obsessive rigor that one would detect in a stage play in a way.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I feel bad it's my most overrated, but you know, it is what it is. My number 3 was 28 Years Later.
I was wondering that was gonna come
It's
up.
number 3. It's number 3. I love this film. I thought it was great. A great addition to this franchise. I can't wait for the Bone Temple. I thought, my gosh, I thought every actor in this was great. Again, like the study on masculinity, and like my top 3 movies kind of have to do with like masculinity as a whole and like what it means to be a man. And this one, like he kind of has 2 journeys: go kill a zombie and go help his mom. And he's so much more of a man in part 2 than he is part 1. And I know people have like issues with it because they were wanting a zombie movie and they kind of got one, but they also got like a real hit in the gut when it comes to the emotions, which I think is healthy for men, which I think is good. And so my number 3, 28 Years Later, fully on board with
Down
this
to the
franchise.
wire now.
Yep, 100%.
Yeah. All right, y'all. Top 2.
Top
two.
for me. That's
Before I go
until
top
something else
2,
comes
what is
along.
both
to
of
me, it's the
your
Odyssey,
most
and I think it has
anticipated
mostly to
movie
do
for
with the fact that
2026?
it has mostly to do with the fact that I binged like Epic the Musical, so now I'm full in on the Odyssey and everything else. Seriously, if you haven't checked out Epic the Musical, you should at least give it a listen like sometime. It's really it's you.
The Odyssey, that
There's
trailer
a
came out and the
Cyclops.
conversation was hilarious because there's a bunch of people like getting pissed
and
off online.
Gorgon and
It's
freaking
not historically
demigods.
accurate, their armor.
What did you
I'm
expect out of
like,
Greek mythology?
there's a Cyclops in this movie, a one-eyed giant. I'm like, you fucking idiots. I'm like, there's a one-eyed giant. Anyway, my movie is probably honestly The Bone Temple. Love this. There's a lot of good movies coming out next year. The Avengers I'm excited for. Odyssey I'm excited for. All these different things I could go on and on. But I'm just on board with this. I'm on board with Jack, the Jimmies. I want to see what Lord Voldemort does against Jack O'Connell in the Bone Temple. So give it to me. Rene, what about you?
I agree. That is one of my anticipated for sure. I'm gonna be basic and I'm gonna say Doomsday. I don't care. I think it's gonna be lit.
can't
It's gonna be
wait.
so awesome. I can't wait. But also another one I want to mention is Scream 7.
Yep.
I'm a big Scream fan. I'm excited to see Neve Campbell come back. Curious to see what they do. I hope they don't bring in that Stu storyline. I don't know if you guys heard about. I really hope they don't bring that back. Would not make any sense, but I'm excited. I love Scream. They're fun, they're campy, they're meta. I love the entire series, and I will be there for Scream 20. I don't care. I love these movies. They're so much fun.
Seriously, the logic again. How is Roman number 2 on he's
That's fine.
Roman, yeah. I
No,
mean,
that's true.
that. Come on, that's the worst one. Scream 3 is the worst one.
Dude,
I never ranked them. I should rank
yeah, you
them.
should. Yeah. All right, Renee, number 2. What is your number 2? Bring us home, top 2.
28 years
I
later.
knew it was coming. I knew it.
Horror movie.
Yeah.
Not gonna get too much into detail just because we already did an entire episode about it. But yeah, it's a great movie. Like you said, some people don't like that it's more on the dramatic side, but I do. And I did hear that that's how also the Bone Temple is too, from people who have seen it early. They've said it is kind of more like the zombies step back, and it's more like the story's focused on the humans and everything. So it was just a really great. I love the original film. I know some people don't like 28 Weeks Later. I like it
Me
too. I
too.
always thought it was a good sequel. So I always said growing up, like I wanted like 28 months later. Like I thought they were going to do like everything. But then they finally came out 28 years later. And I was like, oh my God, no way. And it didn't disappoint. I was glad Danny Boyle and Alex Garland came back. I'm excited to see what Nia DaCosta does. I'm hearing nothing but fabulous things about the Bone Temple. So I am definitely excited for that. And I think that 28 years later is definitely a great setup.
Nice. That's my girl. I love that franchise. All right, Riptide. 28 days later, or 28 year later for your number 2.
My bad, Rene. I got cut off in the middle of I got cut off. That is fair. That is fair. My number 2. This one I watched like very early on in the year. I got very lucky seeing this one, and I don't think many people have talked about this one since. I have no idea. I have no idea why. It is an amazing.
Nizatu?
I think I've heard of it. Yeah.
No, I
Please
haven't
tell
heard
me
that
you've
one.
heard of Nezatu. Well, quick history lesson. And Neza is based off of the rebellious deity in traditional Chinese folklore and Buddhist and Hindu mythology. It's this baby-faced warrior deity born as the reincarnation of a demon whose rebellious nature leads him to defy fate to carve out his own destiny. The first film came out in 2019, and it was pretty solid in its own right. But the second movie had a lot of big shoes to fill, and it over freaking delivered. It made like what, $2 billion in the worldwide box office. It's now one of the highest grossing animated films of all time. It beat out Disney hold on a second. I don't know if it's still like ahead in like I don't know if it's still ahead in as one of like the highest grossing animated film ever, but I wouldn't blame it if it was. Just give me a second. Sorry, it's 2.216 billion. Yep, the 5th highest grossing film of all time and highest
Oh.
grossing
Damn,
film of
I'll have to check that one
2025
out. That sounds
as of right now.
sounds awesome.
And that's just like the box office. The film itself is like it's a French chef's French kiss.
I think my number 2 is the Thunderbolts. The Thunderbolts, like, yeah, and I know that there's films that are better than the Thunderbolts, but it's the character of Bob that got me. The character of Bob, I thought he was just such a great villain for like this stage of Marvel, where it's like because like when the marketing first came out, where it's like the Thunderbolts against Sentry, everyone's like, ain't no way they're gonna beat Sentry, and you're right. Like, there's no way you're gonna beat Sentry the way Sentry is, unless you dive deep into the character of Bob and mental health, specifically like men's mental health, where just what a pandemic that is in itself, and how many men kill themselves every year, and just the people that cared about Bob. And then sometimes I hate the trope of like friendship and love saves the world, but in this case I felt like it was earned. Like that last scene where Bob is fighting himself, and Yelena, Florence Pugh's character, who was again like just had all her own shit going on, like it's just great. It was so good. Most of the characters, like obviously we already talked about the ones that got shafted, but the ones that didn't get shafted were really, really good, and it felt like just a return to form to Marvel, and I just want more stories like that.
I agree.
Yeah, so that's my number 2. And like,
yeah,
and the scene where it's like,
I really
there's 2
hope so,
scenes
please.
in this year of cinema that I was really like, I was like, this is what cinema is supposed to feel like. The one was The Rocky Road to Dublin with Jack O'Connell and Sinners, where he just sing with the vampires, and I was like, this is banging. This is awesome. Yes. And the other one when Bob was fighting with himself, and the Thunderbolts came around him and pulled him out. I was like, this is cinema. This is what it's supposed to feel like. So yeah, I loved Thunderbolts, but it was number 2 because my number 1, I saw it twice, both times. I just thought it was great. But I want to know, Renee, for you, what was your number 1?
My number 1, I guess this shouldn't be a shock. considering I had the first part at number 1 last year.
Wicked.
But I am going to go for Wicked Part 2. Wicked for Good, excuse me. I personally never saw the musical, so I didn't know what was gonna happen. So for me, this was so cool seeing, like, this whole other world of Wizard of Oz, like, seeing Wicked, now going back and watching Wizard of Oz, it changes everything. It's not the same. Like,
It definitely does.
like,
It
I
really does.
wanna,
It's
like,
not at
fight
all.
Dorothy at this point, and also Glinda.
I'm never gonna look at that role the
I
same way
wanna
again.
fight
How
them
dare you?
both so bad, but both Cynthia and Ariana killed it again. Amazing performances. I loved seeing how the Tin Man came to fruition, and same with the Scarecrow,
He took the red pill
and
so
it's
fast.
just everything was so good. The music was good. Yes, it was a step down from the first part, but the first part, I mean, that just had more to it because obviously this is based off a musical, and Act 2 is always usually shorter. But I don't understand the hate that it's getting. I think it is absolutely fantastic. I was like about to cry so many times watching this movie. I love Elphaba. I love her character arc, and even Glinda's character arc. Even though I kind of like am not really a fan of her, she's kinda not that bad in the end. But, it's just really great the way they did these movies. Everything is beautiful, costumes, the way it was shot, it was absolutely amazing. Comes out in digital next week. I can't wait to watch it already. I pre-ordered it, like, immediately, like, the day after I saw it. But, yeah, Wicked for Good. It is good. It is better than good. It is amazing,
Cool.
and I highly recommend it.
My theater friends are gonna be very it's gonna be very happy. It's gonna be very happy you put that as number one on your list. Like I tried really hard in some way to get Wicked for Good to get Wicked for Good on my list. I really tried, but at the end of the day I had to put it like on my honorable mentions list. And I didn't really want to do it. The first one was such a delightful surprise to me. Me and my friend both saw both parts together, and both parts were elevated exponentially because she was there with me. And the second one, I do admit the second act of the Broadway show, it's the pace is more erratic. The events sort of happen almost a little bit out of nowhere. So the fact that this was also given like an extensively long runtime, and it was given more time to breathe, that probably was the biggest victory Wicked for Good was probably going to get. Oh man, I really did wish I could have bumped it on this list, man. I really did.
So what was your number 2 one then?
Only one film this year. Only one film this year was ever truly gonna win my heart, and that was Sinners.
Nice, good choice.
Duh! We should have known
Good
that!
choice.
Come on, man. Like every year when I have to do one one of these lists, like every time I have like I've been doing these since 2017. I don't remember my favorite film from that year, but I do remember 2018 onwards up to now, and I can only remember like two of those. So like 2018, mine was War for the Planet of the Apes. The Lighthouse. 2020 was Hamilton. Yes, that counts. 2021 was The Green Knight. 2022 was Everything Everywhere All at Once. 2023 was Across the Spider-Verse, and last year was Robot Dreams. I only I only go back to rewatch Hamilton and Across the Spider-Verse. Like there's nothing wrong with those other two films. There's nothing wrong with like the rest of those films, but they don't stick out. They don't really speak to me. They don't really make me awe in a way that make me say, okay, and that may seem harsh, but they don't really awe at me in a way that makes me say, this is what the cinema was meant for. And Sinners is that film. Just from it really has gotten to the point where every time I see a still image, every time I watch a scene of the movie, every time I listen to the soundtrack, like even now just talking about it, it's enough to move me to tears. This movie really means so much to me, and a lot of it is thanks to Ryan Coogler and his sincere demeanor. He's constantly active mind, analyzing every scene with a critical eye. He possesses a fervent intensity that drives every robust, every fluid motion in a way that he firmly holds to his creative intent. Every shot is captured with the exact mood and message he envisioned with unwavering swagger and goofiness, like a poet. He balances and leaves both ample space and none at all for interpretation. And this movie right here is why This is a presentation that's worthy of what it boasts and leaves no stone unturned. It's one thing to position and set this in 1930s Mississippi, but this truly does carry the weight, the full weight of the segregated South and the Great Depression through the broadest of scopes and an expensive scale with amazing attention, amazing attention to detail. Packs a precariously dense atmosphere too, a messy but effusive byproduct of the architectural framework for this film's emotional landscape. There's brilliant crowd control with the pacing, the shallow focus that pours out of the cinematography is backed up by some rather overzealous editing. The tapestry of colors and the imagery is very alluring. Need I say more about the soundtrack and the musical score and the cast too. Michael B. Jordan, Delroy Lindo, Haley Steinfeld. There are so many performances that I love in this one, but to me, I think it's Miles Catan. And keep in mind, this is his first acting role too. Like,
Yeah.
strap the rocket to this kid, and he's gonna go far. This
Damn.
full-throated celebration of Afro-American culture, vividly emphasizing the critical importance of preserving one's roots, cultural heritage, also draws a clear distinction between cultural expressions that belong inherently to a community and the external beliefs imposed upon them through history. I mean, there is only so many times you can mourn broken black lineages and make bare the stains of American racism through this medium. But Coogler also masters three layers of literal text, subtext of gentrification, and pure artistic integrity to lean not just into the legend of blues musician Robert Johnson, but also cultural factors that sort of tie into the story as well. It's like this blends all its genre, historical, mythical, and tonal components together into a delicious gumbo pot of extravagant fun. This is the type of cinematic experience packed with a zest that thrills. It sucked me right in, left me dancing and strumming for more. I cannot get enough of this film. Any chance I have to rewatch it, the second I get, I am going to do it. This is my favorite film of 2025. It's not even close, and it might even be a consideration to becoming one of my favorite films of all time.
Dang, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that Sinners means that much to you. I'm glad that it made all three of our top tens. That must mean it's pretty good.
Yeah.
All right, my number one was a show that I don't think anybody saw, but it's called She Rides Shotgun. A lot of people have never heard of it.
Oh, I think I've heard of it.
Yeah, it was out. It was only out in theaters for probably 3 weeks because it made zero money.
Yeah,
but
it was
it's
independent.
yeah, it's the Egerton brother, the younger one, Taron Egerton, and
Yeah.
his brother gets a lot of love for his performance in Train Dreams. I think that this movie, I think he gives the better of the two performance in She Rides Shotgun. Essentially, it's a story of a single mom who's raising this little kid. The dad's in prison, and the dad gets let out because he collaborated with the feds about a white supremacist group working inside of the jail. And that white supremacist group comes after him and his kid. And it hits on like all my tropes where it's like it's a very like character driven story that's not it's not like a slow burn where the whole world is centered on these two people. It's a broken dad, a broken parent who finds redemption in something else. Rene knows better than anybody. I'm a huge stan for those types of stories. It has great acting. It has an ending. I'm a big stan too for like endings that are not happy endings, not sad endings, but realistic endings. And this has that. And I just think it's awesome. And it makes me so sad that it did not get the love that it deserves, like in the box office. So if you have a chance to see it, you totally should check it out because it'll make you cry. It's got action, it's got emotion, it's got great acting, it's got everything. It's got my ticks that like make me like, okay, this makes me feel good or whatever. So yeah, that's my number one.
Nice. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, you guys should check it out and report back and let me know what you guys think because it is good.
Is it streaming anywhere yet?
I don't know. I could probably check.
It should be. Hold on. What's it called again?
She Rides Shotgun.
Shotgun. Oh, of course.
MGM.
It is on streaming. It is on streaming, but you need either an MGM Plus or Amazon or it's yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, wait
Yeah.
till it gets to like
Yeah.
Prime or Apple TV or something.
Yeah.
But it is
It
is
is on
good.
Prime.
It's got a little actress in it who I'm not sure what her name is, but it's her first role. She's amazing. I hope D Money will probably know, but
and Anna Sophia Heger.
yeah, so it's awesome. But that's it, y'all. That's the 2025. Looking forward to checking back with y'all this time next year. It should be like Odyssey, Doomsday, Bone Temple.
Fresh off of Doomsday.
God, yeah.
Fresh off of
Spider-Man Brand New Day.
Do we still think Doomsday is gonna happen?
Doomsday.
Do you guys think Dune is gonna move? I think they should. I mean,
Yeah.
I think Doomsday would make way more money, but Dune needs to move. I'm sorry, they gotta move.
Yeah, and it's just, are you gonna? Yeah, no, you can't. You can't have those in the same day. Like theaters, I don't think are equipped to handle that type of
Theaters
stuff.
would just be playing like those two movies.
Yeah.
Like half the theaters would be in both of them.
I think, is next year The Hunt for Gollum too? The Lord of the Rings? No, it's not next
I
year.
think so.
Maybe it's next year.
Why exactly are they even making like another?
Money,
It's
dude.
all about
Yeah,
the money,
exactly.
money. It's all about the
Do you
money.
need to claim the movie rights that badly though?
No, and like I don't think Aragorn's coming back. Is like his like Viggo Mortensen. How do you make that fucking film without Viggo?
They might just do it for fan service. You know how these things are getting. They'll bring back
that's
everybody.
True. Yeah, that's true. Except for the Harry Potter cast, because J.K. Rowling is pissing the people off that those actors are like, nah.
The amount of people she's turned off of the series entirely, like for Christ's sake.
With that bit.
Yeah, exactly.
But bringing it back, we'll see you. I don't want to keep you guys too long. It's been going for 3 hours.
Been fun.
Oh, good. And we'll be back next time next year to have the same convo. Check out D Riptide. Your hashtag is at D_Riptide on Instagram, right? And Rene, it's Rene.reviews or it's Rene_reviews?
Rene.reviews.
Got it. Okay. Check them out. Locked Off Logic fans, check them out. They're the best.